You're listening to a production of SportsLink Digital Radio.
The marathon day for Ball State sports fans continues as we move indoors to Worthen Arena. Sam Klug alongside Dylan Budd for this basketball game between the Little Rock Trojans and the Ball State Cardinals. A little bit shorter of a pregame show. I know right now as we got 42 seconds to go. Dylan, we're going to jump straight into impact players of the game. Let's start with the visitors.
Well, when we start with the Little Rock Trojans, I'm looking at Tunthach Gatkek. He didn't have a really productive game against that Marquette squad. 27 minutes played, but only 4 points. He was 2 for 7 from the field. Yes, he had 7 rebounds and 2 assists and 2 turnovers, but this is the guy that, Little Rock is really leaning to down low in the paint and trying to dominate in the paint and be that enforcer for this Little Rock squad. And when it was shut down, there just wasn't much going for them on offense.
And now to the Ball State side. Who's your impact?
Well, I have to look at Armani Ziegler. We thought that Davion Hill might be that spark plug for the starting lineup, but as the lineup's gotten announced, it looks like Ziegler will get the start, and he had a similar situation to Davion Hill. 27 minutes, only 2 points against Wisconsin. 0 for 3 from the field. His points were on the free throw stripe. He went 2 for 4. Also had 3 rebounds to his name, but he's somebody that is so dynamic on the floor. He's got the deepest bag on the team. He's such a powerful dunker as well. He's agile. He's fast. He's just incredible on the floor, and this offense lives and dies with him.
When we come back, we'll have first tip on the Ball State SportsLink men's basketball pregame show presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership, and here's why. We stand behind every car we sell and are dedicated to helping our customers save time and money. All our pre-owned cars undergo a rigorous 182-point inspection and come with a 90-day warranty to ensure that you're getting a Victory quality vehicle. Plus, you'll get 2 years of complimentary oil changes and tire rotations. We're part of a top 15 dealership group and have an enormous selection of vehicles with access to inventory at over 45 locations. You always get more for your trade and the best possible rates with us. We have an excellent relationship with hundreds of lenders. Our exclusive Car Doc maintenance and membership program will help you save hundreds of dollars in the process of maintaining your vehicle. Lastly, our state-of-the-art body shop and certified technicians perform high-quality repairs and paint work on most vehicle makes and models. Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership.
You're listening to Ball State Sports Live with SL Digital. This is Hadassah Harris with CBS's WLFI 18, a proud SportsLink alum. Chirp, chirp.
Back live from Worthen Arena, where these two teams, both coming off losses to teams from Wisconsin in Marquette and the UW Badgers, and both those games were losses that were 30-plus. And because of those losses, Dylan, we have some mix-up, at least in the Ball State starting lineup.
Yeah, for the Cardinals, there's a bit of some shuffling going around. Elmore James is going to get the start today. We saw him coming off the bench as a sixth man for the first few games for these Cardinals, and we really thought that we were going to see Davion Hill once again at that guard position, but after a really slow and sluggish game against Wisconsin, he does not get the nod. 21 minutes, 2 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 for 6 from the field, uncharacteristic of him. And he was really a spark plug for the offense. At least we saw it in Louisiana. He plays with a lot of emotion on his sleeve, but it might mean an even bigger role for him. Coming off the bench as that sixth man, he'll be joined by Cam Denson, who we've seen come out after that immediate rotation.
Yeah, Denson has been on a heater, leads the team in blocks at just over 2.5, really their best defensive player. And he has been such a force off the bench, especially when they need it. But we're going to transition over to the Trojan side and their starting lineup. As a whole, they are a taller team than the Cardinals, so that will play definitely in effect.
Certainly, and when I look at this starting lineup, it's business as usual. It seems that Coach Lewis in these first few games is just trying to see new looks with his offense and his defense as well. And with Coach Walker, he knows his guys. He knows what he's going with, and the starting lineup hasn't changed all year. It'll be Braxton Bayless, Jonathan Lawson, Kachi Enze, Terrion Burgess, and Toonthach Gatkek. Cameron Wallace coming off the bench as the sixth man. This is nothing new for Coach Walker, but I'm glad you mentioned the height discrepancy. Little Rock is a little bit taller than Ball State, but the one thing that I noticed with them, no disrespect, but they're a little bit skinny under the paint, and the biggest X factor of this game will be who is more dominant in the paint. So while Little Rock is a little bit taller, what we've seen from these Cardinals is they tend to be a little bit more physical. So when push comes to shove, who is going to win that matchup? Whoever it is, I believe, is going to come out on top today.
Like you said, little thinner underneath the basket, which is going to be an important factor as the Ball State starters get introduced here in Worthen Arena. Pretty good crowd on hand, students showing out in good fashion, and it was a doubleheader today for the Ball State sports fans with football playing Eastern Michigan earlier today, dropping that game at home. But now we got some basketball for a little redemption.
Yeah, unfortunate for football. It would have been, if with a win, it would have been their first year since 2013 or they'd be undefeated at Schumann Stadium, but no dice. I want to go back to that height versus physicality matchup really fast. I really like the start of Elmore James, not only because he's been so productive in his limited time, but as I mentioned, not very physical are the Little Rock Trojans. And when you look at Elmore James, yes, he lines up as a guard and he's 6'3", but he's also 210 pounds, and you can't see it here on the radio, but this man is pure muscle, just an absolute bowling ball who can get physical and body whoever's in front of him.
Michael Lewis called him a guard that can play downhill and get to the basketball, or get to the hoop while being physical. And we're going to actually touch on the coaches super quick before it's a jump ball. You got Darryl Walker. He's been around everywhere.
Absolutely. This is the only man in NCAA who can say he's been a coach in the NBA, the WNBA, Division I basketball, and Division II basketball. This guy has a ring from the Jordan years. In 1993, he was a Chicago Bull, and this man, just with all of the stops in his career, it's easy to call him a globetrotter.
On the Cardinals side, you got Michael Lewis in his 4th season, and we're about to get underway. Toonthach Gatkek and Caden Fish to get us underway. Gatkek wins the jump, and we're underway. Little Rock, Arkansas moving right to left in their maroon uniforms with white numbers and white trim. Ball State in the white, black trim, red numbers. Gatkek at the top of the key. Now finds Bayless. He drives, puts up a floater, off the rim, doesn't go. Caden Fish the rebound underneath, and the Cardinal offense moves forward. Devin Barnes setting up his offense. Near the Cardinal logo, midcourt. Finds Ziegler on the left wing, drives to the right, flows it way up and over the back of the backboard, and out of bounds. That's a turnover.
Well, pregame we were talking to David Eha, who's on call for another network, and we were talking about how crazy Armani Ziegler's bag is. He can make some crazy circus plays. Most recently, we saw one against Louisiana that was ridiculous. Uncharacteristic of him to miss on a layup like that.
Toonthach Gatkek almost falls over. They call him Toon for a nice little nickname. He gets it back on the left wing, looking for someone, decides to take his dribble. Now to Jonathan Lawson, leading the team in points per game. Bayless drives, gets it stripped away and taken away by Devin Barnes.
And what we saw with the Marquette defense is often they would trap these Little Rock Trojans, and Ball State proving its effectiveness already.
Devin Barnes to the left side of the cup to get the first 2 points of the game. Cardinals 2, nothing for the Trojans. 18:45 to go in the first half.
And this is really interesting. Armani Ziegler taking Jonathan Lawson through the full court. Looks like it might be a little bit of a box-and-one style of a defense.
Kachi Enze gets his pass tipped away. Mason Jones, quite the defensive player the Cardinals have. They now give it to him. Left side three, not taken. Fish will drive down the right side of the lane. Jump stops, has nowhere to go, and they're going to call a jump ball on that play. Looked like Caden Fish was running back, but it's going to stay with the Cardinals as they lost the jump and have the arrow. Michael Lewis wants to talk about it.
You know, I know we were shocked that Davion Hill didn't get the start at point guard, but that is nothing to discredit Devin Barnes. Off the bench, 12 points in his 24 minutes, and is why he earns the nod today.
They go now to Ziegler in the left corner. He's trapped by two players. No whistle. Who is it going to be off of? And no call yet. Looks like they're going to give it to the Cardinals. He was trapped in the corner. That would be Armani Ziegler. couldn't really get out of there. You mentioned the Marquette defense trapping Little Rock. It looks like they took a book out of the Golden Eagles playbook.
Yeah, and the Cards went around the horn on that possession, and Ziegler was the last man in the corner. And when you've got the 6'9" Burgess and the 6'9" Gatkek both on you, there's not much you can do to get out of that situation.
Ziegler up top, Barnes driving to that corner again, finds Fish in the paint, goes up with his left hand, rolls just off. So close, but no cigar, and it looks like Bayless was on the baseline, and it goes back to the Cardinals on another turnover.
I really think today is the day that is the coming out party for Caden Fish. Hasn't really been able to contribute in the way he's hoped so far, but in the battle of speed versus physicality, or height versus physicality, excuse me, Caden Fish is the one that can body his defenders.
Jones, right wing three, just off the mark. And again, one shot possession for the Cardinals. Little Rock will now push it. It's Enze, and they get a foul underneath Devin Barnes on Gatkek. Looks like he grabbed him, and that will be his first personal.
Barnes was a little frustrated there, but it's a great play from the point guard, and one of the things that makes him so good is that he's such like a sassy defender. Like, he is going to be right up in your grill all the time.
Gatkek underneath, gets the inbound with the left-hand skyhook. It's good. 2-2, 7:43 to go in the game.
Yeah, Ziegler was on him, and Gatkek was just able to box him out. When Ziegler is behind Gatkek, nothing in the way between him and the basket. It's easy pickings.
A mismatch indeed. This trap defense working, but Barnes gets it away, goes up with the left hand, just off the mark. No good. Gatkek reels it in, and the Trojans will start back up looking for their first lead of the game. It's Bayless. He scans, finds Gatkek on the left wing. All the way cross-court pass right wing. Burgess for three. 5-2, the first lead for the Trojans of Little Rock. Now it's Barnes and Ziegler at the top trying to break this half-court press. Barnes finds Ziegler at the left wing. Barnes will pull it from deep off the front rim. And Gatkek reels in the rebound. 16:48 to go. Up comes Lawson. Jonathan Lawson, really going to be a guy they'll play throughout the evening. Gatkek at the top of the right elbow. Finds Lawson from deep. Off the mark. No good. Ziegler the rebound. He'll push it ahead.
And now waiting in the wings are Cameron Wallace and Davion Hill, both the projected 6 men off the bench.
Mason Jones finds Ziegler. Great pump fake from Ziegler. Now pulls up inside the three-point line and got it. 5-4, Trojans maintain the lead, 16:18 to go.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit. Ziegler is just so agile. He had a great shot fake there, and nice little midi for the transfer.
Gatkek goes in physical, or should I say Enze, and there's a foul on the floor. Looks like it will go against Caden Fish, the Iowa State transfer, his first personal. As we get those substitutions in, and it looks like we will have an inbounds underneath on the left side of the court. Again, Little Rock moving right to left, Ball State left to right of your radio dial. Inbounded high over to Cameron Wallace. Top of the key is Gatkek. Pulls up from deep is Lawson, just off the mark. Bayless will set up on the right wing. Guarded by Armani Ziegler. He now drives to his left, pulls up from the glass. He got it.
Great look from Braxton Bayless, but in that substitution, a lot of new faces on the court for Ball State. Davion Hill now taking it up. Jawan Maxey in that other guard position, and Cam Denson off the bench as we've seen all year.
Maxey trying to break that trap for the first time. They find Elmore James the fourth in the left corner. Doesn't have anywhere to go. Finds Ziegler, right wing three. It's true! 7-7 tie, 15:25 to go.
The Cardinals offense is going to live and die by these skip passes. Great work there to get the assist, but it's very clearly a trap defense for Little Rock to start this contest early.
Tunthach Gatkek struggling with Lawson. There's a tie-up, and the Cardinals again, it's Cam Denson, that defensive masterpiece they have off the bench. That brings us to the under 16 timeout. 7-7 tied, 15:08 to go. You're listening to Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
conditioning, like our workouts together.
You're building a lifelong brotherhood with this team.
When I hear that word, it fires me up because I feel like it explains, football in a sense.
New episode of Together is out now.
You're listening to Ball State Sports Live with SL Digital, the best student radio channel in the country. This is Jack Kaiser. I broadcast for Big Ten Network, and I'm a proud SportsLink alum. Chirp, chirp.
Welcome back to Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie. Thank you, Jack, for that throw back to the stadium. And fun fact, he's on the floor right now calling it for ISC Sports Network. We have a 7-7 tie, 15:08 to go in the game. Back and forth early on, Dylan. What have you liked so far from either side?
Well, the biggest thing I'm looking at for Little Rock is they've already out-rebounded Ball State 6-2 combined in the team stats. And part of that mainly really is Kachi Enze and then Tungthach Gatkek. They've just been great and physical down low, which we kind of didn't expect, as you mentioned in the pregame. But it's very clear for the Ball State offense that they're a little disrupted right now by the way that Little Rock is trapping them. They're starting to figure it out, though. I really like the use of the skip pass. They're going to have to continue that. And as effective as that trap defense can be, you are feeding right into the Michael Lewis style of offense. Quick passes, keeping those defenders flying all over the floor and spacing out for open looks and good shots.
When they faced Louisiana, that was a man-to-man. Wisconsin was a zone as well, but not the trap zone that you see here today. So really kind of a new taste of defense that the Cardinals have to face today, but they have it knotted at 7 apiece. Little Rock will inbound. They move right to left, I should say. They inbound it right over to Wallace. He goes to work on Elmore James the fourth. Passed back out. Gatkek on the left wing. He makes a good move. Wallace to the cup and slams it down. 9-7 to go.
As tall as Cameron Wallace is, 6'8", 210, he has the physicality and really has outstanding speed as a forward to create opportunities for himself, even against someone as physical as Elmore James.
Jawan Maxey finds Hill left wing to the cup. Got it to go. 9-9, 14:36 to go.
And that's what we love about Davion Hill. He's so ridiculously fast. His first step might be the fastest in the MAC out of anybody I've seen this year.
Top of the key is Wallace. He's near the left elbow, guarded by Hill. Looks like we have an offensive foul. That's going to go on Little Rock. Number 23, Carrion Burgess, a highly rated recruit that committed to the Trojans this past spring. Mason Jones will inbound it to Juwan Maxey. Maxey coming off a day, 17 minutes and 2 points versus Wisconsin. Did not have the day he wanted, but will look for any bright spot today. It's Hill working to the top of the key, finds Maxey. Now he feeds it to Mason Jones. The dish, the drive. Now Ziegler will get a chance, but he's fouled by Gatkek.
Yeah, Gatkek was just kind of going for a pickpocket there, and it's really hard to spin your body like that and then still hunt for the ball. Got a little bit of Ziegler's arm. It's going to be a foul called every time.
9-9, 14:02 to go in this first half. Davion Hill to inbound. We'll find Cam Denson, who came off a game with career tie in blocks. Ziegler, the drive on the baseline, finds Jones left wing, back over Maxey. Swung all the way to Denson. He drives to Hill underneath, but it's blocked by Gatkek. Hill will try again, is fouled going up. What a sequence of passing from the Cardinals, and it looked like it caught Little Rock all out of sorts.
Yeah, and it started with an off-ball screen from Mason Jones to try and get Cam Denson open, and I really like the idea of that. With a trap defense that Little Rock is running, it's a chance to open up at least one passing lane, maybe an opportunity for a shot, but Ball State did a really great job of dishing the rock even right under the rim, and a good foul is called for Davion Hill.
Davion Hill coming into today, 42.9% from the free throw line. Again, this is a Cardinal team that is really struggling from the free throw line.
Certainly last in the MAC already, certainly haven't played each other with the non-conference schedule, but that number is certainly concerning as a team, and they've got to find a way to put it together. It's little things like that that win you and lose you games.
Knocks down the second. Cardinals with their first lead since 2-0. It's 10-9, 13:49 to go in the first half. Some new faces. We got Christian Hughes and Caleb Pennyfeather, one of the best last names in college basketball so far this season. Now a pull up from Clater the fourth. He knocks it down. First time we've been able to say his name as well, and the Trojans back on top 12-10. Jawan Maxey works on the right side, drives to the top of the key. Trap defense, finds Denson underneath. He got it to go. Tie game, 12-12.
Maxey had to put so much on that, but beautiful bounce pass to Cam Denson down low. Easy finish.
Denson, not a guy you're always going to see on top of the scoring sheet as Pennyfeather works near the left block. Finds Clater the fourth. Back up top to Lawson. Clater now drives, steps back, but that's going to be a push off. No, they call it a travel. Turnover again.
And Michael Lewis, who we know as being so animated on the sidelines, was all smiles after that, clapping, high-fiving Mason Jones. He is hyped up for this one.
Little Rock, 5 turnovers. Ball State, none so far. That's really been the biggest piece of advantage for the Cardinals so far, as we're knotted at 12 apiece. Maxey and Hill work to break the press. Hill moves to the right side of the arc. Now drives, has Mason Jones in the left corner. Back up top to Hill. They swing it as they've been trying to do. Hill fakes, now drives. Now finds Ziegler, right corner, splash! Armani Ziegler gives the Cardinals a 15-12 lead.
And he leads in points on either side with 8, 2 of them being on the tray ball. Beautiful skip passes. It's one of the best plays in basketball to be able to go on one side of the court, half a second to the other, shot is made.
Pennyfeather going to work on Jones. Now back up top. The ball is tapped away. Hill, but a miscommunication between Davion Hill and Armani Ziegler. It's all love after it. But, man, they could have had a fast break right there.
It's a great idea from Davion Hill. I very clearly wanted Ziegler to get the ball. Hill started cutting it up court. Ziegler could have taken it up, made the easy pass to Davion for a fast break layup. It's a great idea, and this is what we mean by both of those players being spark plugs. One quick change, one quick slot, and it changes everything.
Christian Hughes at the top of the key, setting up the offense. Now finds Clater to the fourth. He drives, pulls back, tries a long two. It's off the mark, but he gets his own rebound. And now he's called for a second straight travel. That's the 6th turnover on the Trojans as we get Terrion Burgess to check back in.
Now Coach Lewis talking to Davion Hill. I don't know if that's frustration or just coaching your player, but we certainly know him to be very vocal and very animated on the sideline. Just couldn't tell what emotion it was there.
He loves the game of basketball. Jawan Maxey finds Hill at the left corner. Maxey will now drive to that left arc side. Finds Ziegler again. This 4-out offense with Jones underneath, moving from block to block. Ziegler again off the mark, and the rebound hauled in by Cameron Wallace.
It's just a heat check for Armani Ziegler. It's a good look. He's had some better ones all day, though. I like the idea, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Go with the hot hand, just wasn't able to land it there.
Now Wallace near the right block, and there's a 5-second call. That's another turnover on the Trojans. Make that 7 and 3 straight possessions with a turnover. Cardinals 15, Trojans 12, 11:23 to go in this first half. When we come back, we'll have more first half action from Worthen Arena. This is Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Well, together, we're all in it together. And I said it in my press conference, it's not just the players, it's not just the coaches, it's the administration, it's the trainers, it's the strength staff, it's the alumni coming back, it's the people in the community supporting our program.
Together to me is just moving as one cohesive unit. I feel like I could just go back to our conditioning, our workouts together.
You're building a lifelong brotherhood with this team.
When I hear that word, it fires me up because I feel like it explains, football in a sense.
New episode of Together is out now.
We're back live from Worthen Arena on the Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio. Sam Klug alongside Dylan Budd. And Dylan, It has been 3 straight possessions for Little Rock, Arkansas with turnovers, and it really has to do with who's on the floor.
Right, and this is one of the pitfalls of having a consistent starting 5. It's been the same 5 guys all year long early in for Little Rock, but that means that when there's a little bit of shuffling on the bench of those players that don't get substantial time, that's when you start seeing some errors happen. And as soon as the bench got more time for Little Rock, that's when we started seeing turnovers, and Ball State has been able to capitalize on those mistakes. Now find themselves up 3 in a back-and-forth game, the largest margin anybody has had all day long.
Indeed, it is 15-12, 11-23 to go as they flash a graphic showing that the women's volley team, outright MAC champs, they earned the #1 seed in the MAC tournament coming up later this month. Dylan, 17-1 in MAC play.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's the best record that Kelly Miller Phillips has had. It's the best conference record we've had since, I believe, 2003. But we just finished a pair of games against Central Michigan that myself and our good friend Rowan Elbert got the pleasure of calling on ESPN. And I got to say, that team is just so fun to watch. They're missing some of their most prominent pin hitters, and yet they still have the best offense in the MAC by a wide margin, leading the way in kills, attack percentage, assists, points. Like, the list goes on. And, you know, they swept Central Michigan both nights. It's just such a fun team, and you can tell there's something different this year.
From one exciting team to another, Davion Hill marches the ball up. We'll get a double screen. Moves to the left near wing. Now Ziegler finds Maxey in the corner, pulls the trigger. It's everything but the net. All air and rebounded by Arkansas.
And our Jawan Maxey coming off a game where he was 0 for 8 from the field. So now 9 straight missed shots for him, just not able to get it together.
Kachi Enze the missed shot, and now Ziegler will push it, streaking all the way ahead. Finds Cam Denson in the far right corner. He almost lost his dribble, now retains it. Will find Jawan Maxey to dish it off.
I love the pace that Ball State is running their offense in.
Jawan Maxey working one-on-one on Truman Clater to the 4th. Cam Denson nearly a steal, but they find Hill in the left far corner. Off the mark and rebounded by Enze. Braxton Bayless has the ball and the point guard position. Finds Wallace underneath. He spins to his right, goes up off the glass. Too much mustard on that one, but Cam Denson cannot retain the basketball, and it will stay with the Trojans underneath.
Just a rare mistake from the graduate Denson, but, you know, the biggest thing I noticed in that little sequence there is one of the things that Little Rock has had trouble with when they run this trap-style defense, it makes the defense think that it's a lot more of an opportunistic chance to gamble and try and jump for balls, and Ball State was almost able to take advantage of that mistake.
Line change there for Ball State. 3 new players in, 3 players out. Kachi Enze going to work on Elmore James the 4th, who just checked in. Bayless gets the ball at the left wing, now drives. He struggles, he's tied up by Elmore, and that's a jump ball. Great play from the redshirt junior transfer from Ohio.
Coach Walker is beside himself. He wanted some sort of whistle, probably not to be blown because it would have been an easy layup for Bayless, but able to get a hand on it there was Elmore James, and just enough where a whistle blows, thumbs are up, and it's another jump ball.
Davion Hill across the timeline with the basketball. Finds Devin Barnes. Now Hill will drive in the paint, dish off the fish, and he's in for 2. Slams it home, 17-12, largest lead for the Cardinals, 9:43 to go.
And we're just about a little over halfway through the first half, and with a score of 17-12, it's been the common story for Ball State that they've had such defensive games, and I freaking love it as a basketball fan.
Burgess drives, finds Bayless on the left near wing. He pulls, got it to go. Braxton Bayless from downtown shooting 71 coming into today from beyond the arc.
And that's why he is the point guard, the leader of this team. He has experience as a graduate, able to dish the rock well, but also have great spot-up shooting and smart looks.
Davion Hill will pull from the right wing. He got it. Davion Hill puts the Cards back up by 5, 20-15, 9 minutes to go.
Now the redshirt sophomore strutting his stuff. This is what we like to see from him, being energetic and emotional on the floor. It fires your players and your teammates up.
3 from either team now. Braxton Bayless trying to get something going. They find Enze in the paint. He goes to his left, now to his right. Will it be a jump or a foul on the floor? Looks like there was some movement underneath. It's going to be a turnover again on the Trojans. No foul No jump ball. It's a turnover as Kachi Enze gets subbed off.
And the mistakes just keep coming for the Little Rock Trojans as they are taking it up the floor. It really feels like everybody but Braxton Bayless just has a lack of poise. They're almost playing in a very panicked style.
Devin Barnes finds Hill. They go to Elmore James on the far right corner. He almost turns it over, but Hill is there to rebound it. Barnes drives. Finds Hill again, pulls up from the right side, just off the mark. People go flying in with bodies. It's an offensive foul, likely to go against Cam Denson or Caden Fish. One of the two called on that. 20-15, Cardinals on top, 8:23 to go.
Foul will be on Cam Denson there, but I mean, starting in 5th grade basketball, that is what your coaches will tell you against a trap-style defense. You're going to drive, pick up your dribble, and then dish it out to somebody for the 3 ball. The Cardinals are going to have to live and die by the 3 today if they want any success against this trap.
This time it's Terrion Burgess. Finds Gatkick, who's back in the game, going against Caden Fish. He finds a cutting Wallace to the cup. Slams it down, and it's 20-17. That's about the Trojans' 3rd dunk. Ball State only has 1. Clearly a high-jumping team as Armani Ziegler back in the game sets up the offense. Cam Denson on the far left side. Goes back to Devin Barnes, and now Elmore James. They like to swing around the arc. Caden Fish trying to get some advantage down low. They find Cam Denson. He goes right up with Gatkick, and he got it. He went right up against the 6'9" center.
Denson just going toe-to-toe with his opposition. There were 3 seconds there where Caden Fish was wide open right under the rim. They got to start finding their adversaries are the Ball State Cardinals.
Dumped inside to Bayless. It's stripped by Ziegler. He pushes it up to Devin Barnes to the cup. No, off the mark. Tipped back up. Armani Ziegler there to clean up the miss, and it's 24-17 Cardinals on top.
And one of the great things about Armani Ziegler is the ability for him to move around in the air with that ferocity. Just a quick little tap in as he's already mid-flight to get the layup.
Gatkick at the top of the key almost has that one stolen. Armani Ziegler and James the 4th going against it. Bayless makes a cut to the left. He's stripped again, but it's going to be a foul on Elmore James the 4th. As we get the under 8 timeout, 6:50 to go. The Cardinals have the lead 24-17. We're going to keep it right here as we wait for them to come back from a timeout. I mean, Dylan, the main story has been the turnovers so far for the Trojans as they have a multitude of them and multiple empty possessions, and they're down 7.
Yeah, Little Rock already has 10 turnovers. Ball State credited with 0. To have double digits not even past the first half is unprecedented and ridiculous, and Coach Walker is not going to have any little bit of it. I gotta say, I have to give credit to Braxton Bayless. At this point, it just feels like damage control because of this panic Trojan offense. It was a beautiful move that he put on Elmore James the 4th right there. Completely dusted him, and Fish kind of just had to swat it down to get some sort of stoppage because it would have been an easy layup for Bayless.
And we look at the shooting numbers right now. Ball State kind of shooting in the lower 30s, 33%. I mean, the Trojans are at a 50%, but they've taken about a third less of the shots. They have 13 field goals. Ball State with 21. And you look, sorry, that would be from 3-point. Ball State shooting 48, and Little Rock, Arkansas shooting 54%.
Well, and that's the true instance of where stats don't tell the full story. Ball State not as productive from 3 so far, but they've had more looks. 9 shot attempts to Little Rock 6, and oftentimes it's because of volume shots. It feels like Ball State has hit from more because those threes have been so much more impactful. As for Little Rock, it's been threes where they're just trying to find a way back and get some momentum going and try and snatch that lead back. Now Ball State finds themselves up 7, where another 3 in this instance would be back-breaking for the visitors. For Little Rock, if they make one out of this timeout, then okay, they're just trying to find their way back in it, right? So every shot, every stat has a very different story and connotation.
The stat leaders right now in the points department, Ziegler already in double digits with 10, shooting 4 for 6 from the field, 2 for 3 from the deep arc. And he's a guy that coming into today, he played 27 minutes at Wisconsin, only scored 2 points and missed every shot from the field. He got his 2 points on free throws. So really, it's been quite the turnaround and quite the redemption game for Armani.
Certainly, I'm happy for Ziegler. He hasn't hit a 3 all year coming into this game. Granted, he only shot 4 of them in the 3 games beforehand, just went 0 for 4. But now today, he's 2 for 3, like you said, been productive from that spot. I'm glad he still has the confidence to keep shooting. You know, we've heard it from players like Mario Chalmers or Klay Thompson. Shooters shoot, and it doesn't matter if you're 0 for 1 or 0 for 41. As long as you have trust and confidence in yourself, just keep shooting it, and eventually one's got to go in, right? That's true for Ziegler.
Coach Lewis told him he has to be an everyday guy. He's got to do everything right every day. Inside, it's Wallace for 2 to get us started after the timeout. 24-19. He got it right underneath after the inbound.
And it means that Wallace now leads the way for Little Rock, and it's because of that speed combined with the physicality. He's just been great coming off the bench. 6'8", 210, and all of it.
Maxey too strong on that one. His second that has not hit any of the rim. Bayless pushes the ball up. Now down low, it's Wallace again going to work on Cam Denson. He goes up, spins to his right, but it's another turnover, a travel. Cam Denson's defense locking down Wallace this time.
And the one negative thing that's been going on for Cameron Wallace is because of just the discombobulation for Little Rock, he and Bayless kind of feel like they have to do it themselves, and that's where some of these turnovers have come. This time, just a little bit of a cha-cha. It's going to be called every time.
Now the Cardinals still moving left to right. It's Joan Maxey. Finds Davion Hill all the way over to Ziegler. Drives in, has nowhere to go. Finds Mason Jones cutting to the basket out of bounds.
Jones wanted it to stay in Cardinal possession, but pretty easy call there. I think it went off his shin.
Believe so. First turnover for the Cardinals as well today.
Yeah, looking at the replay, it was off the shin.
Braxton Bayless across the center line on the right far side wing. Makes a move, now kicks it off. Deep 3 from Lawson off the mark. Tips back up, right into the hands of Gatkek, but he can't maintain it. It will stay here with the Trojans as a Cardinal defender the last to touch it, but man, fast pace we go, 24-19, 5:46 to go.
Well, for Gatkek, perhaps I spoke too harshly. As skinny as he is a very physical presence up front. Very just strong graduate student.
Cameron Wallace has been that 6th man so far today. Did not get the start. Got the ball there, gives it off to Bayless, and he knocks it down. 24-21 with 5:30 to go.
It's been Bayless's bread and butter. Now he's got 7 points, and it leads the way for the Trojans. Just that mid-range shot has been productive for him all year.
One of 2 6 years on this team. Cam Denson at the top of the key gives it back to Maxey. He's trapped, but that's going to be a foul call on Cameron Wallace. 5:16 to go as we get an inbounds play. Subbing back in for the Trojans, Truman Clater the 4th, the junior who is probably very familiar with the MAC, hails from Toledo, Ohio, and has 2 JUCO stops before this in Cape Fear Community College and Gulf Coast Community College. Both these teams have a lot of JUCO products.
Lot of JUCO products indeed, but subbing in for the Cardinals is Preston Copeland, probably the most interesting prospect these Redbirds have.
Had his first collegiate points at Wisconsin, now has the ball down low, finds Maxey and then Hill. Hill drives, makes a cut, but he's denied by Gatkek. They stood tall and their arms were too much to get it over. Lawson drives in. Bayless, the pump fake. He's going to be fouled by Hill from behind. 24-21, 4:55 to go.
And that's Davion Hill's first foul. Ball State hasn't contributed to too many. I think 4 now, if my numbers are correct. Yes, just 4 with a little under 5 minutes left in the half. They're not necessarily in foul trouble just yet. And when someone blows by you, it's okay to just get a swipe down. If it makes contact with the arm, so be it.
Now Lawson on the left wing, kicks it over to Bayless. He makes a drive, switches back left, now to right, off the glass. What a touch. Braxton Bayless. Beautiful kiss off the backboard. Davion Hill across the timeline. Coaching up his offense, calling a play. Preston Copeland, top of the key, hands it back off to Hill. He's swarmed, has to find someone. He finds a cutting Jones to the cup and in. Mason Jones. First points of the day. It's 26-23 Cardinals. Bayless the other way, finds Gatkick. What a slam. He rocks the rim, and Michael Lewis wants to talk about it.
And when the game is moving so fast like that, somebody is bound to make a mistake, and in this case, it was the freshman Preston Copeland. He doesn't have too much time, just 15 minutes in last game against Wisconsin. Doesn't have too much time on the floor. True freshman, really promising, but with that lack of court awareness and court IQ, mistakes are going to be made like that, and it's the growing pains of having a freshman as promising as him get significant time.
With the Gatkick dunk, it moves it to a 26-25 lead for Ball State. Little Rock cuts it to 1. 4:16 to go. We'll be right back on Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Well, together, we're all in it together. And I said it in my press conference, it's not just the players, it's not just the coaches, it's the administration, it's the trainers, it's the strength staff, it's the alumni coming back, it's the people in the community supporting our program.
Together to me is just moving as one cohesive unit. I feel like I could just go back to like our conditioning, like our workouts together.
You're building a lifelong brotherhood with this team.
When I hear that word, it fires me up because I feel like it explains, football in a sense.
New episode of Together is out now.
You're listening to Ball State Sports Live with SL Digital. This is Nick Yeoman from NASCAR's Performance Racing Network and IndyCar Radio, and a proud SportsLink alum from 2010. Go Cards!
This broadcast is produced by the students of Ball State Sports Link and presented by Victory Honda of Muncie. For your next new or pre-owned vehicle, drop by the showroom at the corner of McGalliard and Morrison Roads in Muncie, or visit victorymuncie.com. That is victorymuncie.com. Inbounded to Hill, it's 26-25 Cardinals lead, 4:12 to go in this first half. Ziegler, far left wing, has it tapped away by Lawson, but he recovers. Screen from Copeland, he goes, but he's trapped. Has nowhere to go on the Cardinal head, figuring a way out. He's on the ground and throws it away. Here comes Hughes to the cup, blocked by Jones. But right away, Lawson with the rebound.
The last time we had a timeout, we were talking about how it had been all Ball State. Now it's Little Rock that has the momentum. They are in the driver's seat.
27-26, their first lead since early in the first half. As Maxey lines up on the wing, looking for a cutting Jones. No, he takes it himself, dishes it off to Copeland, turns it over. 3:30 to go, up ahead. Now the Trojans turn it over. Sloppy play. Maxey cuts to the paint on his left side, gives it off to Copeland. Copeland back out to Ziegler. Maxey will try again, off the mark. And we have a foul on the floor against Braxton Bayless on the arm.
I think both shooting coaches are just beside themselves right now. Coach Walker and Coach Lewis, there were so many mistakes in that sequence, and it's because, again, they were playing just a little too fast either side, and it led to just some really silly turnovers.
Jawan Maxey at the line for 3 free throws. He comes into today shooting an abysmal 33%, but he makes the first one. Maxey lines up the second, makes it again. Again, this is a team that has struggled to make free throws, and he's knocked down the first 2.
Those are the first shots that Jawan Maxey has made all day. You got to feel for him because it's clear that he's been a little rattled on the court, and like you said, coming off a really tough game against Wisconsin, just wasn't really able to get anything to fall, and maybe that's a chance for him to start putting it back together, because I don't know what's going on with him, but this is the mental side of basketball. You miss one shot, that's okay. Missing 2, that's reasonable, but going 0 for 8, you've got to be frustrated with yourself, and that's going to play into even the next game and maybe the next week for Jawan Maxey. Just tough scenes from him.
Darrell Walker wanted a timeout to talk it over, and while we have a minute, for the best stories in Ball State sports, our latest videos and SportsLink program information can be found at ballstatesportslink.com. That is ballstatesportslink.com. 28-27. Cardinals have the lead with 3:16 to go in the first half. Cardinals hold a 2-1 record as the Trojans came into today at a 1-2 record. Conference play yet to start, but the Trojans hail from the Ohio Valley Conference. They were picked first in the preseason poll. Cardinals picked 8th in the MAC poll. Maxey goes 3 for 3, and the Cardinals hold a 29-27 lead as Devin Barnes will check in for the shooter Maxey as we begin the last 3:15 of this first half. Braxton Bayless up the far right side of the floor. It looks like the Cardinals moving into a zone defense. More of the trap like Little Rock is playing. Gatkek finds Bayless again. Nylon! Braxton Bayless from deep gives the Trojans the lead.
That's the pitfall of playing trap defense against someone as experienced as Braxton Bayless. Multiple stops in his career, all sorts of time at an NCAA court. He's going to be the smart one on this floor and not make mistakes.
Hill will try his. Got it! Davion Hill gives the Cardinals the lead, 32-30. 2:35 to go. Both teams playing well near the end of this exciting first half. Gatkek has the ball at the top of the key. Looks for a cutting Hughes, won't find it. Now goes to work on Denson. Gatkek pulls up from well beyond the free throw line, but it doesn't go, and Armani Ziegler up the floor. Makes a cut, and that's going to be a foul on Christian Hughes. The redshirt sophomore out of Kirkwood, Missouri, called for the foul. 2:14 to go. Cardinals lead 32-30.
You know, I don't really know how Gatkek was even able to get a shot off there. I don't know what Cam Denson was doing. There was just some weird post move, and then Denson completely fell off him. It gave Gatkek a look.
Armani Ziegler almost pulled up from deep. Now it's Devin Barnes playing pass with Ziegler. Ziegler drives, now finds Barnes. He pulls up. Yes, sir! Devin Barnes from downtown. Cardinals have a 35-30 lead, under 2 minutes to go. Braxton Bayless across the timeline. He's guarded by Davion Hill. Finds Lawson. The zone defense has evaporated after that 1-3. They're back to man. Wallace, good move from Lawson. He takes it down the right side. Up, and the foul off the rim, but it falls short. And Lawson will go to the line shooting 100% from the free throw line. Has been perfect. And I don't think it'll be an announcer's jinx, but Dylan, you never know.
Yeah, certainly don't know here, but, you know, I've waxed poetic long enough about how good Armani Ziegler has been on offense, and the big blemish for him is his on-ball defense. He's a little too jumpy and finds himself just going into Narnia sometimes on little post moves that, as a guard, you know, you shouldn't really fall off on, and you know, that's why we have Lawson shooting shots right now, because Ziegler just got busted up on some pretty easy moves.
Lawson makes both and remains perfect from the free throw line in 2025-26 season. Davion Hill takes it up the timeline on the right near side. Bottom of the Cardinal logo. Now moves to the top of the logo. Is trapped again. They've been struggling with the trap, but he gets it away. Stolen by Gatkek. He stoles it. Up ahead to Lawson. The lob. He jams it down. Cameron Wallace throws it down on the Cardinals, and it's a 35-34 game. 1:09 to go.
Can you tell that Wallace comes from a community college? In fact, Holmes Community College in Mississippi. It doesn't look like it. This dude can jump out of the gym.
That looked like Florida Gulf Coast back in the early 2010s. Ziegler will try from deep. Does not connect, and a good rebound by Burgess. You can see why they were picked to finish first in the OVC with their height, their athleticism. Coach talked about how he thought it would be one of his better defensive teams, but their offense is showing out today. Wallace, dish off. Bayless, lob again, tipped up, doesn't go. Bayless, his own rebound. Jones had it for a second, and it's all over the floor. Nobody can grab it. Gatkek the rebound and dishes it back out. Little Rock will set up with 17 seconds to go. Braxton Bayless back in control. Guarded by Devin Barnes. 10 seconds to go. Bayless pulls up from deep, and he got it. Braxton Bayless takes the lead for the Trojans. Here comes Ziegler with 2 seconds. Pulls up. Way too long. And out of nowhere, Little Rock holds the halftime lead after a 7-0 run.
It was all Little Rock in those last 5 minutes, and Michael Lewis is beyond frustrated with this squad. I mean, I don't know how you can excuse letting Braxton Bayless shoot that far from deep. He's been productive from beyond the arc, and I understand that he's really far away, but he made a couple really deep shots against Marquette. Those are things that you can see on film, and if you're Devin Barnes, I don't care that there's 7 seconds on the clock. You gotta stay up on him. You will have help. You can't let that happen, especially late in the half. Now you find yourself down 2. That conversation in the locker room is a whole lot more difficult because of one shot and one alone.
And you know why he took that? The shot clock was winding down. I don't think Ball State really realized that's why he was backing up and why he eventually pulled up from well beyond the arc. And then again, they have the lead now. It's 35-30. Ball State on top. Now it's 37-35. Trojans in the lead.
Well, if you're going to play for Michael Lewis, you need to have strong court awareness. You've got to know everything that's going on around you. And I understand that there was a little bit of a moment of panic as everything was going on there. I can't excuse whatever happened in that last few minutes. Ball State really, I mean, we mentioned Little Rock playing panic for, that middle portion of the first half. And by the end of it, Ball State was scrambling against a team that, frankly, they shouldn't be scrambling against.
We will see what happens in this second half. It's getting interesting here. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, it'll be the Ball State Sports League men's basketball halftime show, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership, and here's why. We stand behind every car we sell and are dedicated to helping our customers save time and money. All our pre-owned cars undergo a rigorous 182-point inspection and come with a 90-day warranty to ensure that you're getting a Victory quality vehicle. Plus, you'll get 2 years of complimentary oil changes and tire rotations. We're part of a top 15 dealership group and have an enormous selection of vehicles with access to inventory at over 45 locations. You always get more for your trade and the best possible rates with us. We have an excellent relationship with hundreds of lenders. Our exclusive Car Doc maintenance and membership program will help you save hundreds of dollars in the process of maintaining your vehicle. Lastly, our state-of-the-art body shop and certified technicians perform high-quality repairs and paint work on most vehicle makes and models. Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership.
Well, together, we're all in it together. And I said it in my press conference, it's not just the players, it's not just the coaches, it's the administration, it's the trainers, it's the strength staff, it's the alumni coming back, it's the people in the community supporting our program.
Together to me is just moving as one cohesive unit. I feel like I could just go back to our conditioning, our workouts together.
You're building a lifelong brotherhood with this team.
When I hear that word, it fires me up because I feel like it explains, football in a sense.
New episode of Together is out now.
You're listening to Ball State Sports Live with SL Digital. This is Jaron Matheny with Summit City Sports and Indiana Tech Athletics, a proud SportsLink alum. Go Cards!
And we're back after the return to court from Mr. Jaron Matheny himself. It's a rare deficit so far in the game, so far for the Cards. They're down 37-35 at the break. This is the Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio halftime show presented by Victory Honda of Muncie. And Dylan, for the most part, the Ball State Cardinals were in the lead for that right into the end, kind of reminiscent of that Louisiana game where they led for most of the first half, and then a couple quick threes, and they're down at half.
Well, the one issue for Ball State so far, especially on offense, is that they start very slow, and then their defense at the end of halves has a tendency to collapse a little bit. It's why they were down 1 against Louisiana. It's why they were only up 4 against Mansfield, then found themselves down against Wisconsin because, well, it's the 24th best team in the country. For whatever reason, right from the jump, I think they're a little too antsy, a little too anxious, and it's a perfect strategy to run a trap defense against them because it's designed to cause chaos. It's designed to keep your players on your toes, flying around the floor, and the Cardinals have been making mistakes off of it.
Well, a team that was antsy to begin the game is actually their opponent. Little Rock begun the game with 10 turnovers compared to the Cardinals' 0 at a certain point in the first half. And since then, they've been really good. The total stats right now, they only have 12 turnovers, so about 2 since that point when they were leading the Cardinals in the turnover department 10-0. And the Cardinals now have 6, I should say, after that moment.
Well, Sam, let's put this into perspective. We had a timeout under 8 minutes, and at that point we talked about the fact that Little Rock was in double-digit turnovers already, and just how unprecedented and crazy that is. Just 2 turnovers in the final 8 minutes, and at the time, it should be noted the Cardinals didn't have any. It started with a ball off the shin of Mason Jones. There were a couple really silly passes and errant plays from the Ball State guards especially, and now they find themselves with 6 turnovers. So I understand that they only have just half as Little Rock, but the Trojans have just been much more opportunistic in their chances with the ball, and capitalizing has been their bread and butter for much of this year.
Yeah, I want to talk about guards, but specifically Braxton Bayless. Started pretty slow on the day, but now he's shooting 6 for 7 from the field, 3 for 3 from deep. He has 15 points on the day and only 18 minutes played. That guy has been outstanding.
Yeah, and because of both of these teams having really tough losses, Marquette for Little Rock and Wisconsin for Ball State, a lot of these players are needing get-back games. And for Braxton Bayless, he is in a similar boat. 24 minutes against Marquette, only had 2 points, 4 turnovers, and 4 personal fouls. Just one of the worst games of his career, to be honest with you. Now he's on pace for 30 points. He would be 12 from 14 if he produced a second half like this. Also 6 rebounds. Yes, he's had 3 turnovers, but you have to understand he's also a point guard. There are going to be some turnovers that may not necessarily be his fault, or because he's touched the rock so often, he might make a mistake here or there. But when you've got 15 points in one half alone, you kind of have to swallow that. I'm totally okay with my point guard 3 turnovers, but 15 points, that's a very easy trade-off in my opinion.
Now a guy who didn't even get a nod in the starting lineup, Cameron Wallace, who has been leading the team in rebounds throughout the game, but he came in and had pretty much changed this end of the first half. He has 8 points, shooting 4 for 6 from the field, and to add on, he has a rebound in only 13 minutes played.
Well, we talked about the term spark plug a lot, and I used it to describe some of these Ball State guards, but for Little Rock, it is Cameron Wallace. He's just been ridiculous off the bench, and the biggest thing that stands out to me, man, for a 6'8", 210-pound guy, he is explosive. He's got a great first step. He's super physical down low. He already has a handful of dunks, including a beautiful alley-oop that you got the pleasure to call. He's just been great off the bench, and it means that there really isn't any rest for Ball State's defense.
We talked about it a little during the first half, but he's another one of those JUCO products that both of these teams have so many of. Came from Holmes Community College, where he was first team All-MACC and the freshman of the year. So again, these guys from these JUCO colleges, and on the Ball State side, I mean, you could say it's a list of people, whether that's Davion Hill. I mean, you go down the list, Davion Hill, as well as Jawan Maxey, who have been pretty solid today.
Certainly, there's just a lot of JUCO products. Like you said, there's a lot of people that come from very different places, and that's one of the difficulties of, running with such a new roster, especially like Ball State. Little Rock has a lot of newcomers as well, but I especially point out Ball State because when you've got so many names, so many faces from so many places, it's hard to bring that many personalities together for one common goal. Sure, the understanding is to win, but a winning style of basketball in Georgia is very different from a winning style of basketball in California, and opposite sides of the country. And for the international players as well, that adds in another wrinkle. Maybe there's some translation problems, and because of that, that's where you find a lot of difficulty in multiple personalities in different places, just trying to bring them together and have a cohesive unit.
Dylan, before we wrap up this halftime show, what can Ball State do to possibly stop this offensive spurt from the Trojans? They're lobbing the ball inside. They're playing really good off the pick and roll, and their guards are elevating from beyond the arc.
Well, for defensively, you have to stop gambling. They've just made silly mistakes trying to trap every once in a while. They're stunting and recovering. I understand the benefit of that, but it leaves some of those shooters wide open on the arc, especially Braxton Bayless, and it's why he's been so productive from three. He is 3 for 3 on the day. You can't make silly turnovers. We saw it at the end of the first half, and I wonder if it's just that they were a little bit tired as the half progressed. You know, they didn't really go far down their bench, and that might be an issue cardio-wise. Just 14 players on the roster means less time to take a breather, but that's exactly what this Cardinal squad has to do. They've got to take a deep breath. What Little Rock is trying for right now is to make the Cardinals panic. They're right there with them. In fact, up against Ball State 2 on their home court. They run this style of defense in a trap that makes these guards especially really panic. But if you're a guard, especially like Davion Hill, Armani Ziegler, Devin Barnes, you've just got to be able to take a deep breath, weather the storm, make the skip pass, and eventually the shots will go down for themselves.
And it's interesting to note as we have 4 minutes and 30 seconds till the second half, Little Rock is on the floor, but Ball State's nowhere to be seen. I would assume Michael Lewis really wanted to talk some things over, especially that last half minute. But we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will have the start of the second half. You were listening to the Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio Men's Basketball Halftime Show presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Well, together, we're all in it together. And I said it in my press conference, you know, it's not just the players, it's not just the coaches, it's the administration, it's the trainers, it's the strength staff, it's the alumni coming back, it's the people in the community supporting our program.
Together to me is just moving as one cohesive unit. I feel like I could just go back to like our conditioning, like our workouts together.
You're building a lifelong brotherhood with this team.
When I hear that word, it fires me up because I feel like it explains, you know, football in a sense.
New episode of Together is out now.
Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership, and here's why. We stand behind every car we sell and are dedicated to helping our customers save time and money. All our pre-owned cars undergo a rigorous 182-point inspection and come with a 90-day warranty to ensure that you're getting a Victory quality vehicle. Plus, you'll get 2 years of complimentary oil changes and tire rotations. We're part of a top 15 dealership group and have an enormous selection of vehicles with access to inventory at over 45 locations. You always get more for your trade and the best possible rates with us. We have an excellent relationship with hundreds of lenders. Our exclusive car dock maintenance and membership program will help you save hundreds of dollars in the process of maintaining your vehicle. Lastly, our state-of-the-art body shop and certified technicians perform high-quality repairs and paint work on most vehicle makes and models. Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership.
You're listening to Ball State Sports Live with SL Digital. This is Jaron Matheny with Summit City Sports at Indiana Tech Athletics, a proud Sports Link alum. Go Cards!
Now back to the action for second half basketball between the Ball State Cardinals and the Little Rock Trojans. It's a Trojan lead, 37-35. And Dylan, something we were talking about off air before we got back is Ball State's inability to really recover from those screens on defense.
Well, and what the Little Rock Trojans have done a great job of on offense is being able to command the middle of the floor. They've been dominant in the paint, yes, but many of their drives and their shot opportunities have come from the top of the key, and it's because of the on- and off-ball screens that the Trojans have been generating with their big men like Wallace, Gatkek, and among others. But if I'm Michael Lewis in that locker room at halftime, I said we've got to start icing these screens. I want to see these ball carriers like Bayless have to work more towards the baseline where there's less court to work with. If you want to run a trap, you know, we saw it for a couple points before it came back to bite them. If you want to run a trap, once you have your guard to the baseline, especially Braxton Bayless, where there isn't much room to work with, sure, I can justify it there. But when you're trying to trap a point guard as dynamic as Braxton Bayless at the top of the key, there's not much that's going to have going for you.
He got it off the inbound. Now Little Rock will move left to right in their maroon uniforms. Ball State will move right to left in the white uniforms. It's Lawson finding a man in the far left corner. That's Burgess. Stolen by Mason Jones and taken away by the Cardinals. Again, Cardinals down by 2, 35-37. Devin Barnes gets this second half start at the top of the key. Finds Caden Fish. Stolen ahead by Lawson, and he slams it down. Jonathan Lawson starts it off hot for the Trojans in half number 2.
Sam, we're under a minute into the second half, and the turnovers are already rearing their ugly heads.
Caden Fish, the drive, gets inside. Elmore James, the fourth to the cup. Cuts it to 2, 39-37, 19 minutes to go.
And that's what high-end talent will do for you. Little Rock played the trap perfectly, but Elmore James is good enough to find the seam and attack it. Easy layup for him, even as contested as it was.
Enze on the outside of the arc, gives it to Bayless. He drives to the right, gets to the cup easily. Little Jelly, he got it. Braxton Bayless continues his hot streak, 41-37. Trojans on top.
And again, we mentioned as dynamic as Braxton Bayless is, it's little layups like that have been killer on this Ball State defense.
Barnes hit as he shot, no foul call, and it goes out of bounds as an air ball. Looks like they wanted either a tip or a foul call. They'll get neither. And Little Rock will get it back. Ball State has started this half with 2 turnovers, and Little Rock has 2 baskets.
Well, now what's interesting, Caden Fish came out to start the second half. Cam Denson just checked in, and now Fish is heading to the locker room, or at least to one of the trainers. Something's going on with him.
Cam Denson gets the poke, and the steal goes up, is denied by Enze, but fouled. Another thing to note, looks like Davion Hill's on the bike with his warm-up shirt on, so the Cardinals dealing with a little bit of injuries maybe to start this second half. Pretty physical first half.
Yeah, 2 of your main starters now, not necessarily 100%. We don't know about the rest of them. We know among some of the players on Ball State, we know Joey Hart has been in a cast early in this year, but to see Caden Fish go out, especially with an injury history like you have to be a little concerned if you're Ball State.
The Cardinals continue to miss from the free throw line. Denson coming into today shot 75% from the line, so not a bad shooter as he lines up his second and cashes it and makes it a 3-point game. Trojans lead 41-38. Denson's 5th point of the day. Braxton Bayless across the timeline, moves from right to left, gives it up to Burgess, the highly rated recruit, off to Wallace, who got the second half start. Finds Gatkek. He fakes the pull-up, guarded by Mason Jones. Feed inside to Wallace, tipped away by Denson. Again, really one of the best Cardinal defenders, and he showed it there.
My issue with either side at the end of the first half and the start of the second half, Sam, is there's a big difference between playing to win and playing to not lose. And I think either side at this point is just playing to not lose, just trying keeping the status quo.
Braxton Bayless, spin move to the left side, pump fake, now pulls up at the shot clock, didn't get it to go, rebounded underneath by Lawson, and he puts it up and in. 43-38, 5-point lead for the Trojans. Armani Ziegler back in the game, handoff to Barnes on this near left side, Jones to the cup, finds a cutting James, and he's fouled on his way up. Elmore James will get to the line, and there's a technical foul on the floor. I believe that is going against, I'm not sure, Dylan. What did you, I did see the technical sign, but I'm not sure who it's against.
I don't know who the foul is called on.
I do know there was a tussle underneath. It is going to go against Toonthach Gatkek, the technical foul. He kind of got roped up with Elmore James IV underneath. He obviously fouled James, but then he kind of hooked his arm. James tried to pull it away, and it looks like they got him for a technical.
Yeah, there was a lot of contact there in that little sequence. It was a smart play from Jones that as he's driving baseline, and a great play from Elmore James, too, to be able to cut when Jones has two defenders on him. Great little dish there from the forward, and it would be an easy lay for Elmore James if you're in Toonthach Gatkek situation. Like we said earlier in the first half, you kind of have to foul. You'd rather have the foul than easy points, but a technical is certainly not the ideal. Don't know why the difference was between a technical and just a personal foul. Maybe it was a little too chippy, a little too physical, but at the same time, we're not on the floor.
Indeed, we aren't, and it looks like they're at the monitor, so not entirely sure if it will stand or if they will reverse it to maybe they believe that Elmore James is the suspect of that call right there, that technical foul. Good news on the other end for the Ball State Cardinals. Davion Hill's off the bike, and Caden Fish is back on the sidelines. Looks like he's standing upright without anybody's help, so he appears to be totally fine as we continue to have these officials look at it. 17:34 to go in the second half. Cardinals down by 5. They trail the Trojans 43-38.
Yeah, and Fish is walking up and down the sideline now. Looks like he has some sort of wrap or brace. He goes back on the bike now, but some wrap or brace or something around his left knee, or at least the bottom of it. I wonder if that trip to the trainer's room was just to get it worked out. Maybe a little bit of massage action. Maybe there was some cramping going on in a situation like that, but now he's on the bike trying to work his way back. He was favoring his right leg a little bit more than his left, and I wonder if that's why his minute count was so low against Wisconsin, just 12, even as a starter. And I'm curious if that knee injury is some sort of impact there. Just today, he only has 9 minutes so far, as we're just a little bit over a half. Something that's going to have to be monitored for the rest of the season. Like I said, with an injury history like his, you have to be concerned. He's such a dynamic player and normally a starter on this squad, and to have him out, the Cardinals would surely miss him.
Looks like the officials get together now, and kind of going back to the technical call, there can't be a lot of beef between these two teams. This is only their second meeting all time, and their last meeting was 2 years ago, and the only player who played against the Little Rock Trojans was Mason Jones. There's nobody on the Little Rock side who even played against Ball State back in 23.
Yeah, and Mason Jones, he didn't do too much against this Trojan squad. He had 2 points, 2 assists, and 1 rebound. Wasn't really much going for him, even as a forward. But like you said, a lot of roster turnover in just a matter of 2 years. And, you know, both of these teams have had some really impactful players cross their roster. For Ball State, you know, I got to think about guys like Jamari Hill and Peyton Sparks, Mickey Pearson Jr., Bashir Jihad, some of those stars that they've had in years past that as much as you miss them with all the roster turnover, you still have some really promising players on your roster now like Armani Ziegler and Davion Hill.
Elmore James at the line. The technical will stand. He misses the first. And I believe with a technical, you do get the ball as well, and he makes the second. So now we'll actually go to the other end. It appeared the technical foul went against Elmore James IV. So Elmore gets his free throws for being fouled on the way up. But now they put Jonathan Lawson at the line, who's perfect on the season on free throws. And there's a miss. His first missed free throw of the day, and the fans want tater tots.
You know, we mentioned the announcer jinx earlier, and now it strikes.
And he did, and that means free tots for Ball State students at Roots Burger Bar in the Village. Crazy sequence right now. And man, Jonathan Lawson was perfect on free throws, misses both, and the Cardinals now have it within 4. 43-39, 17-30 to go in the second half.
Not only do we have an announcer jinx, but We also get some free food for the fans. Good work from us, Sam.
Indeed, and Jonathan Lawson. Good work for the Cardinal fans, at least.
I think we'll take credit for that one.
We will. Lawson finds Bayless on the right far side. He drives to the corner, beats Elmore James. Bit of a push-off, goes into him, no contact, and the ball's out of bounds on the Cardinals. Stays with the Trojans on the far side of the far end of the court. Again, Little Rock moving left to right, Ball State right to left in this second half. Both scoring on the end of where their benches are. Good crowd on here today at Worthen Arena. Lawson, after the 2 misses, drives on Barnes, gets to the left side, is stripped, but out of bounds yet again. Devin Barnes playing some lockdown defense right there.
It's not hard to notice. We talked about the height discrepancy, and most of the time your immediate thought when you say, oh, one team is taller than another, is that there might be a battle in the paint. But even looking at these guard matchups, Little Rock is a lot taller than the backcourt of these Cardinals.
And the Trojans just had to chuck one up as the shot clock was winding down. It was Cameron Wallace, and no foul call, so that's another turnover.
Whistle blowed because that ball didn't even hit the rim. Just desperation from Wallace.
Devin Barnes right to left across the timeline. Working on Braxton Bayless. Little Rock now in the man defense, ditching the zone they had. Ziegler drives, finds Denson underneath, beats his man, takes one dribble, goes up and is denied. Toonthach Gatkek says, not in my house. Bayless now drives up. They push it now, slow it down. Underneath to Burgess. The freshman works on Denson, who's a senior. It's the young versus the old. Burgess to the cup. He beats his man. Terrion Burgess says, how do you do?
That sequence wasn't anybody's mistake. It was beautiful play from either side, just taking advantage of each other's mistakes. Denson got his defender to jump. Gatkek was able to swat it down, and then a great play from Burgess himself. It wasn't necessarily anybody's fault through the entirety of that sequence, just great basketball.
Foul on the Ball State offensive side, but it's going to go against the Trojans, Jonathan Lawson. And going back to that play, good defense, better offense, as Mark Jackson would say. Davion Hill on the inbounds. Passes it off to Denson, and now Ziegler retains the ball. Working on Burgess. Now Barnes sets up the offense. Looking for a place to go as they wind down this shot clock. Ziegler, the drive, easy to the cup, and 2 more for the Cardinals. Ziegler cuts it back to 4:45-41. Trojans on top, 15:50 to go in the second half.
And it's a pretty common coaching philosophy. When in doubt, feed your stars. And in this point, with all the guys on the floor, it's Armani Ziegler. Get him the ball and just see what happens.
Gatkek, the reigning OVC Defensive Player of the Year, going to work on Jones. Gets a screen, but he loses the ball. Dive on the floor. Ziegler, he gets it back. Mason Jones streaking ahead. Finds Denson to the cup. He got it. Cam Denson cuts it to 2, and the Cardinal fans are on their feet in Worthen Arena.
Credit to Gatkek for falling, losing the ball, and then able to scramble and just be inches away from the block on the backboard. But that was all Cam Denson, Armani Ziegler, and Mason Jones. Beautiful basketball in a game where that's been a lot of miscommunication on either side.
We're getting some feisty responses right now. Cam Denson poking that one away from Lawson, but he's called for the foul. Those two kind of going at it after Lawson scored on him. But we have the under-16 timeout. When we come back, we'll have more Ball State basketball. This is SportsLink Digital Radio presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership, and here's why. We stand behind every car we sell and are dedicated to helping our customers save time and money. All our pre-owned cars undergo a rigorous 182-point inspection and come with a 90-day warranty to ensure that you're getting a Victory quality vehicle. Plus, you'll get 2 years of complimentary oil changes and tire rotations. We're part of a top 15 dealership group and have an enormous selection of vehicles with access to inventory at over 45 locations. You always get more for your trade and the best possible rates with us. We have an excellent relationship with hundreds of lenders. Our exclusive car dock maintenance and membership program will help you save hundreds of dollars in the process of maintaining your vehicle. Lastly, our state-of-the-art body shop and certified technicians perform high-quality repairs and paint work on most vehicle makes and models. Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership.
listening to Ball State Sports Live with SL Digital. This is Nick Yeoman from NASCAR's Performance Racing Network and IndyCar Radio, and a proud SportsLink alum from 2010. Go Cards!
Thank you, Nick. And now we got a thriller brewing here. The Trojans have the 2-point lead, 45-43, 15-15 on the game clock. Dylan, we're seeing a little bit of testiness going on down there. It's getting physical.
Well, as more time has been spent on the court, I think push is really starting to come to shove on either side. But, you know, as we were looking at some stats off air during timeout, that turnover margin is still very prominent for either side. And at halftime, you know, Little Rock had, I believe it was 12 turnovers, maybe 13, and Ball State had 6. Since then, the Cardinals just 1 turnover, and Little Rock has 4. So those issues have shown up again for Little Rock after the intermission, and now it's why Ball State is only down 2. There were moments in this contest where Little Rock really was starting to gather momentum, but it's killers like that such as turnovers, that are really going to stunt anything that you have going for you. And it's given Michael Lewis and his squad the ability to get back in this, and just like that, we have ourselves a ball game again.
We do indeed. It's a 2-point game, 45-43 to go. And yeah, the turnover margin, it's double right now for the Trojans. They ended that first half in a much better spot, and especially that run they went on. But they'll get the ball to start this second half, moving left to right at Worthen Arena. Braxton Bayless being guarded by Jawan Maxey. Now the drive inside. Wallace gets to the cup, gets his own rebounded in. Cameron Wallace going to work on the Cardinal defense, and it's a 4-point lead yet again.
The raw talent of Cameron Wallace has shown time and time again with his explosiveness, his quick first step, and his dominating physical presence, especially down low.
Ziegler to Hill, back to Ziegler. Maxey's open in the corner, they don't find him. Ziegler to Hill, they try and swipe it all the way over, but it's knocked down. Almost a turnover. Denson saves it, almost loses it himself. Now drives. Maxey open in the corner, makes a move. At the buzzer, got it. Jawan Maxey cuts it back to 2, and the Cardinal faithful approve.
You got to feel for Jawan Maxey. That's his first shot made from the field in just about a week. Finally able to get back in a positive column.
Gatkek has pretty much been locked down by Jones to begin this second half. Just under 14-10 to go as another foul, and it's an offensive one. The Trojans continue to turn the ball over, and the Cardinals are taking advantage.
Yeah, you know, my opinion isn't necessarily professional, but I don't really know what the call is there, at least what the argument is for Braxton Bayless. Maybe in his swipe on that jab step, maybe there was a little bit of an elbow thrown in there. That's all I can think of.
Maxey, as the Trojans go back to the zone defense, Hill will try and take advantage. No, they set it back up. Hill on the far left side finds Maxey on the near left side outside the arc. Hill's going to pull from deep. No, off the mark. Mason Jones goes up for that one. Gives it off to Cam Denson, and the foul! Cam Denson screams in Little Rock's face because he's tied the game.
And 1 for Cam Denson. A chance for the Cardinals to have their first lead since the first half, Sam. All momentum here in Worthen Arena has completely shifted to the Redbirds.
What a comeback it has been. They were down at the half after some sloppy play. As we get a substitution, Kachi Enze, who has been out for some time, is back in. One of the starters for the Trojans. But Cam Denson, known for his defense, his up and down the floor play, not a starter, not a guy, you know, you're always looking for. Really, I think he's a guy that we need to pick for our impact player next time the Cardinals play at home because, man, he is all over the place and he's playing well.
Certainly. The next time we have the pleasure to get a call of Ball State men's basketball, he's going to be someone to watch for sure, just like he is in today's game. But we mentioned that the first half, the Cardinals have had really slow starts to begin the year, and now that the second half is upon us, this offense finally in rhythm.
Denson gives the Cardinals the lead, 48-47, 13-28 to go. Gatkek tries to work on Hill, a little bit of a mismatch. Drives inside, Lawson, short, not there. Good rebound by Enze, who just checked in. Lawson from deep, nylon! Jonathan Lawson silences the Worthen crowd. 50-48, Little Rock on top as we wind down the clock on this fantastic non-conference matchup. Hill lost it off his foot, and we're going the other way. Sloppy play from Davion Hill, someone you don't expect to have a play like that.
Absolutely not, and neither does Michael Lewis. We heard him shouting all the way from up here in these headphones, Sam. They do a really great job of shutting down any of the outside noise. Still could hear the enigmatic head coach, but you know, in a moment like this, I'm really missing Caden Fish. He's still on the bike, still trying to get back in this one. A presence like his is very much needed on the floor.
Trying to stay warm all he can. Braxton Bayless being the pilot he is with the ball, but he throws it away. Back-to-back sloppy turnovers for both teams' floor generals in Davion Hill and Braxton Bayless. It's 12:51 on the game clock, 50-48, Little Rock on top. Jawan Maxey across the Cardinal head. Starts his offense. Now moves to the left near wing. Finds Hill in the left corner. Makes a cut on Lawson. Goes to the cup. Hill up short. Doesn't get his own rebound, and Bayless will take it up the timeline. Moving left to right on the near right end line. He makes a cut to the corner. Has it with himself. Lawson feeds it into Gatkek. He goes to work on Jones. Wide open underneath. Cameron Wallace was wide open. Nobody had him, and it's a 4-point lead. Jawan Maxey tries to go quick. They slow it down. Now Ziegler has been silent for some time since the first half. Cam Denson hands it off to Jones. No, the fake. Denson to the cup. Too strong. Cam Denson had a wide open shot. Now ahead. Wallace to the basket. He's short. It's a 5-on-4. Ziegler up ahead. Plenty of cards wide open. He threw it away. Wallace blocked by Ziegler, but Toonthach is right there to jam it down. When you have two guys above 6'8", it's impossible.
Sam, I don't know what's going on here. There's been mistake after mistake after mistake, and we just saw some really beautiful basketball. Now nobody knows what they're doing. Everybody's doing just a little too much, and it means that there's been so many errors. It's pandemonium at Worthen.
Mason Jones is rejected by Gatkek, who led the team in blocks last year, and that's going to bring us to the under 12 timeout. And before we get to break, we just need to break down a little bit what happened. There was a turnover by Little Rock. The Cardinals had a 5-on-4 in the pass. They tried to pass it forward, and they turned it over.
You know, the phrase of let's try and break it down, that's sweet of you. I have no idea.
Good point.
How to read what in the world just went on. I mean, I don't know. I simply don't know.
Ziegler had a beautiful block on Cameron Wallace, but guess who was right behind Wallace to clean it up? That would be Toonthach Gatkek, who stands at a crazy 6'9", and he just slammed it home on Ziegler.
And it's a great play and great mindset of him to be able to finish the play. He saw Ziegler on the chase, and the guard made a really great block there on Lawson, but Gatkek was able to just recover and slam it down easily.
Well, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have the second half of this second half. 11:22 to go. Cardinals trail 48-54. You're listening to Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
And I said it in my press conference, you know, it's not just the players, it's not just the coaches, it's the administration, it's the trainers, it's the strength staff, it's the alumni coming back, it's the people in the community supporting our program.
Together to me is just moving as one cohesive unit. I feel like I could just go back to like our conditioning, like our workouts together.
You're building a lifelong brotherhood with this team.
When I hear that word, it fires me up because I feel like it explains, you know, football in a sense.
New episode of Together is out now.
SportsLink is the official production partner of Ball State Athletics.
All the chirp you can handle.
Well, Dylan, not a lot of chirping going on right now as the Cardinals trail the Trojans 54-48. We had quite the sequence right there. But before we get to more action, this broadcast is produced by the students of Ball State SportsLink and presented by Victory Honda of Muncie. For your next new or pre-owned vehicle, drop by the showroom at the corners of McGalliard and Morrison Roads in Muncie or visit victorymuncie.com. That is victorymuncie.com. Well, we're back with some more men's basketball here in the middle of November after this doubleheader. Football ended their home season today with a loss to the Eastern Michigan Eagles, and now the non-conference season charges on for the Cardinals as they host Little Rock.
You know, I know the radio liner said all the chirp you can handle, and I never really thought I'd say this, but there's a little too much chirp going on right now. Just all over the floor are both of these teams, and it's almost a little overwhelming to try and unpack and figure out what in the world is going on, because whatever it is for both squads, it is not working.
Caden Fish back in the game for the Cardinals. That redshirt junior presence will be wanted. Barnes throws it up off the backboard, not good, and another rebound for Gatkick. Bayless will slow it down across the timeline on the far left side. He sets the offense, mismatched with Mason Jones. He's a much quicker player. Will go to work now on Caden Fish. They switch back to the man. Now the drive by Lawson. Gets to the cup. It's short. Out of bounds on the Trojans. Good defensive stop there from Ball State, and they get back on an important possession.
At the beginning of this game, Sam, in the pregame show, we had said that it's going to be a battle of height and physicality under the paint, and whoever really wins the rebound tally is probably going to win this game. And as Little Rock has the lead in points, they do as well in dominating fashion for rebounds. 26 total rebounds as for the Cardinals, who just got into double figures with 10. If you even look at this half, the Trojans have 10 in this half alone in comparison to the Cardinals' 3. So it's that presence under the rim that Ball State is missing prominently, and maybe that changes with Caden Fish checking in now, but you got to figure it out if you're Coach Lewis.
And again, because of how long Fish was out for, and obviously Mason Jones and Elmore James IV, they can't play the entire game. I mean, Preston Copeland has only been in there for a couple of minutes, so it makes sense why Little Rock, Arkansas is winning the rebounding battle. But again, that's probably where a lot of these second chance points have come, because you've seen it in possession. A lot of the shots aren't falling for Little Rock, but it's those second chances is where they really get their baskets, especially on these fast breaks when teams are making sloppy mistakes with turnovers.
Well, and when you look at the big guys on Ball State's roster, Caden Fish, Mason Jones, and Cam Denson, they just have a combined 4 rebounds. You can't have that level of production if you're going to be in the front court. That's just not acceptable. I mean, Kachi Enze has 6 of his own. Gatkick has 3 as well. And then the guards have been contributing. Bayless with 4, Lawson with 4. I mean, the leading rebounder for Ball State is the guard Armani Ziegler with 4 of his own, matching the total of the 3 guys that are supposed to be the main ones collecting boards. There's no offense or defense, for that matter, that can thrive when your bigger presences aren't being just that. They aren't having a presence under the rim.
Yeah, you look for the players on the floor right now for Little Rock, everybody has at least a rebound, and 4 of the 5 players have at least 3 or more rebounds. And then on the Ball State side, if we look at the season stats coming into today, the 2 guys who had the 2 most average rebounds per game, both guards, Davion Hill at 6'2", and Armani Ziegler, a guard at 6'4". Ziegler came into today averaging 5, and Hill was 6.3. So again, we know Ball State is not built on the height side. They really lack in that department. But the guards, you can't always rely on them, and they have been, and it's coming back to bite them today.
Certainly, and there are many times where when a guard gets a rebound, it's because whatever shooting team it is, it just isn't crashing the glass or making a really dumb shot. That's when Ziegler and Barnes and Hill are really getting those boards. It's when the other team isn't deciding to crash. And if you're Mason Jones and Caden Fish and Denson and all the other big men that I listed before, you can contest all you want. I understand that you're trying to contest every single time, but if you're not coming down with them, it means nothing.
Indeed it does, and we've actually failed to mention this as we were talking a little bit about the rebound department. There's a review after that out-of-bounds play that they called against Little Rock, and they called for Ball State. looks like we had a decision. I believe I missed it. Not sure what they called, and now we have a timeout. Both teams still huddled on their respective benches. Again, Little Rock leads 54-48, 10:50 to go. And it's been quite the matchup. We've had a couple of ties, but right now Little Rock is on a 7-0 run. Ball State has missed its last 4 field goals and has not scored a basket in the last 2 minutes and 50 seconds.
And that's the beauty of basketball, that some teams can continue to make mistakes. Some teams can take advantage. We've seen really beautiful play, and we've seen really awful play come together in matters of seconds. You know, that the high-intensity games such as basketball promotes that style of play where there may be mistakes, but there may be some great reads, great finds, great shots, and then inversely, things where we as announcers or other people as fans might sit there and scratch their heads and say, what in the world was going on there? So, I mean, for Ball State, and especially these fans, you might be a little frustrated that you're down 6 with just under 11 minutes to go. There may be a little bit of frustration there, sure, but you have to respect the fact that it's been a really fun back-and-forth game.
They've confirmed the call out of bounds, stays with the Cardinals. Ziegler across the timeline finds Elmore James. He drives fast to the cup, doesn't have anywhere to go, and it will be called for the travel. Sloppy turnover from the senior out of Cleveland, Ohio, and he transfers from the state school there, Ohio University, the Bobcats out of the MAC. Spent 3 seasons there. Really wanted to stay in the MAC, says he loves it. It's such a fun conference. Bayless gets the start. He gives it off to Toonthach Gatkek. They call him Toon as a little nickname. Toon dishes it off back to Bayless. Bayless surveys, finds Enze underneath, and he's fouled going up. Caden Fish back in the game is going to be registered on that foul call.
Yeah, it's going to be a foul on Caden Fish every time, and it all started with a really great screen from Kache Enze to shut down Armani Ziegler on the ball carrier Bayless, and not much that really Fish can do to stop those points from being scored.
We talked about the Cardinals' screen defense has not improved the way they need it to. Jones has done a solid job of guarding Gatkek, and he gives it off Lawson this time. Lawson being guarded by the senior guard, James. James the 4th, that is. Screened by Enze. Now feeds it back to Enze. The floater off the mark at the buzzer. Doesn't go. Maxey pushes it up. Back to James. He drives in. Off the foot of Gatkek and out of bounds. That stops that possession. 9:49 to go. Cardinals will have it on the near sideline. Jawan Maxey appears to be the inbounder. They now put him at the baseline. As they make some substitutions, out goes Enze to the bench. In comes Truman Claytor the 4th. We have 2 4ths, Elmore James and Truman Claytor. Jones dekes to the corner, doesn't go with it. Ziegler back to Maxey. No, hit the rim 3 times, but 3 points are not added to the board. Bayless across Charlie Cardinal at midcourt. Sets up the play. Just under 9:30 to go. Inside to Lawson. Finds a cutting Wallace. Got it to go. Cameron Wallace. The backdoor cut unseen from the Cardinals, and it's 9:16 to go.
It's another great play and great court awareness from Wallace, but Mason Jones and Caden Fish got to figure it out down low and keep seeing your man and seeing your assignment, because they've been lost under the paint all game.
Caden Fish almost fell out of bounds, but Michael Lewis gets the timeout call with 9:07 to go. The Trojans have a 56-48 lead. You're listening to Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie. For the best stories in Ball State sports, our latest videos and SportsLink program information can be found at ballstatesportslink.com. ballstatesportslink.com. We'll be back after these messages.
Well, together, we're all in it together. And I said it in my press conference, you know, it's not just the players, it's not just the coaches, it's the administration, it's the trainers, it's the strength staff, it's the alumni coming back, it's the people in the community supporting our program.
Together to me is just moving as one cohesive unit. I feel like I could just go back to like our conditioning, like our workouts together.
You're building a lifelong brotherhood with this team. When I heard that word,
And now we're back after that short break. Cardinals trail by 8 with 9:07 to go. They inbound it on the near left side. They're moving right to left at Worthen Arena. Cam Denson having some trouble. Makes his man fall. It's now a 4-on-5 for a brief second. Maxey, the drive. Dish off. Intercepted by Wallace. He feeds it up to Gatkek. He makes the Euro move. Gets it up, but he's fouled. Gatkek streaking ahead. Even at 6'9", he can run.
It's the 4th turnover for these Cardinals in just a little under 5 minutes. And in that span, Little Rock is on a 9-0 run with these 2 free throws by Gatkek. That could be up to an 11-0 run. And this game that has been so close for so long, Little Rock is starting to run away with it.
Gatkek makes the first. The advantage is now 9 in a 10-0 run. Back on the floor, Devin Barnes in for Juwan Maxey. Gatkek came into today shooting 50% from the free throw line, and he misses that one. So that trip is 50%.
And what's interesting is the Trojans have been outscored 38-36 in the second half. Ball State's been outscoring their opponents 42-36. But it's been all Little Rock, and Ball State looks a little bit tired on offense, probably because of this trap-off defense that Little Rock has been doing all game long.
Burn them there as a foul is called on Wallace. Cameron Wallace on the foul, who's really been probably the brightest spot for the Trojans today, and it makes sense. He's had double digits in the points department off the bench in every single game so far. That would be 3 on the season. And for him, that is the same with 14 today. That ball's stolen. Gatkek gets it again, slows it down, and sets up the offense. Another empty offensive possession for the Cardinals. Bayless will slow it down, taking this clock under 8:15. Gets a screen from Wallace. He rolls, doesn't find him. Bayless goes up, and he's dragged down, and it's a jump ball. Fantastic play there from Devin Barnes as he gets his hand on the ball.
And that wakes up Worthen Arena just a little bit. There's been, since this drought, it's just been silent. And now with the Cardinals getting the ball back, it's a chance to take a deep breath and see if you can get something going. You probably have one play before the under 8 timeout.
Exactly 8 minutes to go. Devin Barnes waiting for the offense to get going. They set. Screen from Denson. He rolls, has nowhere to go. Wallace in there, but he's fouled again. Second possession, and Cameron Wallace is not a happy camper. That's going to bring us to the under 8 timeout. This broadcast is produced by the students of Ball State SportsLink and presented by Victory Honda of Muncie. For your next new or pre-owned vehicle, drop by the showroom at the corners of McGalliard and Morrison Roads in Muncie, or visit victorymuncie.com. That is victorymuncie.com. You're listening to SportsLink Digital Radio presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership, and here's why. We stand behind every car we sell and are dedicated to helping our customers save time and money. All our pre-owned cars undergo a rigorous 182-point inspection and come with a 90-day warranty to ensure that you're getting a Victory quality vehicle. Plus, you'll get 2 years of complimentary oil changes and tire rotations. We're part of a top 15 dealership group and have an enormous selection of vehicles with access to inventory at over 45 locations. You always get more for your trade and the best possible rates with us. We have an excellent relationship with hundreds of lenders. Our exclusive car dock maintenance and membership program will help you save hundreds of dollars in the process of maintaining your vehicle. Lastly, our state-of-the-art body shop and certified technicians perform high-quality repairs and paint work on most vehicle makes and models. Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership.
From the bell tower to your smartphone, anywhere in the world.
Never miss Ball State Sports with SportsLink Digital.
As Code Red puts on a little in-between timeout performance, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the foul trouble that's been going on in this game, and it's a rare sight. The Ball State Cardinals have really not had much foul trouble this season, but now they do.
Well, and as the game runs its course, that's always going to be a concern at just about this time, so not too shocking that now there's a conversation about it, but we had mentioned the impact that Cameron Wallace has had. He's second in points for Little Rock, but that he just picked up his 3rd foul to go into the under 8 timeout. And Terrion Burgess, only 24 minutes as a starter, one of his lowest numbers of the year because he has 3 personal fouls. And interestingly enough, Caden Fish in his 11 minutes, some of it is because he's of a potential injury that might be lingering. We see him on the bike once more off the court. He, in his 11 minutes, has 3 personal fouls. So all impacts that you might have to narrow down a little bit. You might have to, ease their workload down just a little bit more. You might see some less time from Caden Fish, from Wallace, from Burgess, as Little Rock has this lead. But we'll have to see what happens. It's going to be really interesting to see how both of these coaches handle it in the next 8 minutes.
At the line is Devin Barnes. He cashes that one down. Fouls total 11 for Little Rock as he makes both. Devin Barnes cuts it to a 7-point lead, 57-50, 7:50 to go. As Bayless brings it up the timeline, gives it off to Lawson. Wallace with the ball, gives it off to Lawson. He pulls from deep off the front of the rim, and another empty possession that the Cardinals needed. Elmore James in the rare point guard position takes it up. Gives it off to Ziegler. Now Barnes will set it up with a pass to Denson, and they're going slow. They want these possessions to mean something.
Should be noted that the Cardinals are in the bonus after that Wallace foul.
Ziegler taking his time, almost double teamed there. Now finds Elmore James, the 4th. Drives inside, almost slipped. Has nowhere to go, and he doesn't get a shot off. Was unaware where the shot clock was at. And 2 empty possessions for both teams, 1 apiece.
I like the idea of slowing it down and trying to find an open look, possibly for a cutting shooter, but the problem there is that you've been waiting and slowing it down for the entirety of the possession. Clock just dwindles on him.
Now Thunthach Gatkick will give it off to Bayless at the Cardinal eye. Wallace will go to work. He's played most of this second half after not getting a start. Lawson, drive to the cup, no one there, right side, off the rim, and Mason Jones has the rebound. Good crash by the Ball State defense. Ziegler wants to go fast, has a lane, gets to the basket, he got it, and one, Armani Ziegler.
How did he do that? The way he contorts his body, falling away, spinning it off the backboard, and gets the foul. I don't know how that happens. Just outstanding, amazing plays from Armani Ziegler, who has the deepest layup bag on this team, and boy, oh boy, he has been showing it.
Yeah, Ball State every year has one very athletic guard. Last year, it was Fat Glizzy. This year, I think it has to go to Armani Ziegler, and he makes the free throw. It's 57-53. It was 9 at one point. It's down to a 4-point lead for the Trojans. 6:38 to go. Armani Ziegler coming alive in this second half. Bayless guarded by him. The 2 standout guards going next to each other. Lawson fires it over to Clayton the 4th, who's back in the game. Now Wallace, step backs, gets James the jump, doesn't go for it. He wants it back. Wallace spins to his right, pulls up, got it to go. Cameron Wallace has been basically beating a dead horse with Elmore James as his defender.
2 straight step back ideas for Wallace and able to cash the second one. He gave a little bow to his head coach Walker.
Darrell Walker likes some of that in-state talent. Wallace is one of them, hailing from where the school is located in Little Rock. They have 6 players, I believe, from in-state Arkansas. Kind of a rare sight so far in college basketball these days, really having a player from where your college is located.
Especially with the presence of NIL and the transfer portal, you don't see too many hometown kids, but yesterday with volleyball, we saw it with Cam Wise, and now we've seen it with Wallace of Little Rock.
Ziegler had nowhere to go, arguing with the ref. He held his pivot foot down, but him and the zebra stripes disagree as it's a turnover. And Claytor the 4th is the inbounder.
It doesn't feel like the Cardinals are down only 6. Little Rock has all the momentum, and this Redbird offense just feels lifeless.
Gatkek, guarded by Mason Jones. Moves across the top of the key. Almost a steal there. And that's a travel from Bayless. Unhappy with that call, but Ziegler really going to work on him. Loves it.
Ziegler applied the pressure, and when Bayless got that ball, his momentum was moving backwards. So rather than being able to establish a pivot foot, he almost had a hop step with the same foot. Easy travel call.
Ziegler faked two guys out of their boots. Finds a cutting James. He's trapped in the corner. Gets it out to Denson. He's in trouble in the corner. Gets out of it. But they say he stepped out of bounds, I believe. Another empty possession for Ball State, and it's the story of the second half. They've cut it to 4. Now it's at 6 with 5:17 to go.
And you see how effective it is that they were able to trap him right at the corner. That's what Ball State has to be doing on defense, icing these screens and giving these ball carriers nothing to work with.
Using the baseline as an extra defender. Lawson, the drive. Finds Clater to the 4th. Now Bayless finds a cutting cat. No, Gatkek is called for the travel. He had a wide open basket, and he took one too many steps.
That certainly is a call that happened. I thought he lost the ball by the time the travel was called.
Ball State needs to take advantage of some of these turnovers that's costing the Trojans a definitive win. 4:48 to go. It's getting to crunch time. One more media timeout, the under 4, and a plethora of coaches' timeouts. Another sloppy turnover. It's Gatkek with a deflecting steal. Bayless will slow it down. The life of Worthen being sucked out every second that ticks down. It's at 4:30 to go.
And yet Little Rock, with 22 turnovers, still hasn't been able to put these Cardinals away just yet. It's still not out of the water.
Lawson from downtown, a huge 3. He puts it up to 9, 62-53, 4:13 to go. And Jonathan Lawson has been the Cardinals' kryptonite, as there's a foul against Clater the 4th. 2 Cardinals going for it. It's a collision, and it isn't a good one. Armani Ziegler and Elmore James the 4th crashed into each other, and that is not a sight you want to see if you're a Cardinal fan. Ziegler stays on the ground, sits up a little bit, seems to be okay, after a somewhat scary collision here in Worthen. And this Cardinal defense that was a throwaway ball. They tossed it up and basically gave them a free turnover, but we'll get a review on if that indeed is a foul call on Clater the 4th.
The guards have had a lot of lobbing balls, and that one was another from Davion Hill. There was no communication between Elmore James and Armani Ziegler as to who that ball was intended to. As soon as Hill threw it up, he said something to one of his teammates. I think he said Elmore, and Elmore went to jump on it. I guess neither saw Ziegler, and that's why Ziegler just hit the deck. Glad to see he's all right, but think he's a little rattled after that, and so are the rest of these Cardinals, just unable to get anything going. Little Rock has the largest lead of any team today with 9, with just under 4 minutes left, and I don't know how you get this offense going, but something's got to happen.
James the 4th will go to the line. He's 1 for 2 today from the free throw line, and he makes the first, and he's awarded a second. That's his 4th point on the day, and he's 2 for 3 from the free throw line. Misses the second one off the back iron and rebounded by Lawson. Braxton Bayless, the Ankeny, Iowa native, brings it up the timeline. Also one of the JUCO products that's been so amazing tonight for the Trojan. Fed inside to Gatkek, but he's shoved from behind by Mason Jones, and they'll get him for a foul. That's going to bring us to the final media timeout of the evening. It's 3:49 to go. The Trojans hold a 8-point advantage, 62-54. You're listening to Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership, and here's why. We stand behind every car we sell and are dedicated to helping our customers save time and money. All our pre-owned cars undergo a rigorous 182-point inspection and come with a 90-day warranty to ensure that you're getting a Victory quality vehicle. Plus, you'll get 2 years of complimentary oil changes and tire rotations. We're part of a top 15 dealership group and have an enormous selection of vehicles with access to inventory at over 45 locations. You always get more for your trade and the best possible rates with us. We have an excellent relationship with hundreds of lenders. Our exclusive Car Doc maintenance and membership program will help you save hundreds of dollars in the process of maintaining your vehicle. Lastly, our state-of-the-art body shop and certified technicians perform high-quality repairs and paint work on most vehicle makes and models. Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership.
Your home for live Ball State sports, streaming right in your timeline.
This is Sports Link Digital.
The final few minutes of this back and forth game are ahead of us. 3:49 to go. Cardinals trail by 8, 62-54 in the second half. You're listening to Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie. For the best stories in Ball State sports, our latest videos, and SportsLink program information can all be found at ballstatesportslink.com. That is ballstatesportslink.com. Dylan, real quick, let's look at some of these schedules ahead for the teams. The Trojans continue their long road trip. They go to Murray State, Texas State, and Southern Illinois.
Yeah, they've got it's this traveling show that Little Rock has had. Like we said early on in this game, it's about 2 weeks long, maybe a little bit more of road games. They're not at home until December 3rd, and the Cardinals will start a road trip as well. They're on the road until December 9th with trips to Indiana State, Lafayette, Pennsylvania, and more.
Inside to Wallace, he got it to go. The lead is 10, the largest lead of the night. 64-54 with 3:40 to go. Armani Ziegler takes it up the timeline. Now Elmore James IV. His first start of the season was tonight. Ziegler takes it inside. That zone defense has been so stifling in this second half after they brought it back. Tried to feed it past to Mason Jones. It's on the ground. They get it back to Jones. James is wide open in the corner. He got it. Elmore James IV cuts it to 7 and brings Worthen Arena to a little bit of some cheering.
Amidst the craziness on that offense, Jones was able to get the ball to James in the corner. Great look from the Valpo native.
But can they slow down this man and his teammates? Toonthach Gatkek finds Lawson, makes a man miss. Now the feed back, a little off center. But Clater IV with it now. Now Lawson the drive. Up and over Jones, off the glass, too much. No foul call, we play on. Mason Jones finds Elmore in the corner again. James IV makes a move on Braxton Bayless. Backs him down. Back out to Cam Denson. Cam Denson on the near left side. Finds Hill at the top of the key. Hill resets, takes it to his left, goes to the glass. Foul, no good basket. He gets to the line. Davion Hill, a smart offensive play as the Cardinals will try and cut it to 5.
Now that's Gatkek's third foul of his own, so certainly a little bit of a conversation for Coach Walker. And I think really watching this defense from Little Rock, the reason why they run the trap so often is that because all of their defenders are so lanky, even if you want to try and make that skip pass, it's pretty often that one of those defenders has a long enough arm to be able to swat it down.
Hill knocks down the first. It's 64-58. Today he is 2 for 3, and now 3 for 4 from the line. One of the better shooting performances from the free throw line for the Cardinals. They sit at 75 right now. As the fans rise to their feet and cheer on their Cardinals, it's 64-59. That's Wallace at the Cardinal head. Stolen by Hill off the hand. He gets knocked to the ground. No foul. Clater IV, the drive, dishes it back out. The drive by Wallace. He has nowhere to go. Stolen by Cam Denson. Up ahead. Knocked away. and out of bounds on the Trojans. They do not like that call. Will they go to the monitor? We're going back and forth, and we're at exactly 2 minutes to go. They will not take a look at it. They're going to clean up some water on the floor as Cardinals retain possession. Moving right to left here at Worthen Arena. They're on the near side near our booth on this left end basket at Johnny Worthen Arena. They're down by 5, 64-59.
And just like that, the energy at Worthen Arena is back.
Hill looking for an inbound. Might be a 5-second call. Gets it away in time. Cam Denson has nowhere to go. Surrounded up. Mason Jones fakes, had a wide open shot, doesn't take it. They now find Ziegler, pulls up, too long and too much.
Everyone in this arena knows that Jones should have put that shot up from the corner. Ziegler tries it instead, and that's why there was a miss.
Little Rock struts ahead, calls the timeout, and like you said, they wanted him to take that three. 1 minute, 37 seconds to go in this game. And a very gut-wrenching possession right there as it's a full timeout. Because it's a full timeout, we're going to take a quick break. Minute 37 to go. Cards down by 5, 64-59. This is Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Well, together, we're all in it together. And I said it in my press conference, it's not just the players, it's not just the coaches, it's the administration, it's the trainers, it's the strength staff, it's the alumni coming back, it's the people in the community supporting our program.
Together to me is just moving as one cohesive unit. I feel like I could just go back to like our conditioning, like our workouts together.
You're building a lifelong brotherhood with this team.
When I hear that word, it fires me up because I feel like it explains, football in a sense.
New episode of Together is out now.
Hey Cardinal fans, this is Connor Onion, play-by-play broadcaster with Fox Sports, and I'm a proud SportsLink alum. You're listening to Ball State Sports Live with SL Digital. Chirp, chirp.
We're in crunch time now. Minute 37 to go in the third home game of the 25-26 campaign for Ball State men's basketball. 2-1 on the season. Their one loss coming at the Cole Center. And they're facing off against the Little Rock Trojans, 1-2 on the season. 2 losses to UW Milwaukee, Marquette, and their home win against Arkansas Baptist. Minute 37 again to go, 64-59. Cardinals down by 5, and Little Rock, Arkansas with the ball. Ziegler guarding Braxton Bayless, who's been a standout guard today for the Trojans. Under center calls out the play. Clater, the fourth, gets to the cup. Mason Jones stands tall, and a good defensive stop by the Cardinals. Hill wants it himself, takes it in the paint. He's surrounded by 3 people. Jones cuts in, just missed, but he's fouled going up. Mason Jones, the smart IQ play, and gets to the line. He's perfect from the free throw line this season. Mason Jones had a season-high points versus Wisconsin. Hasn't done much today yet, but he could come up big time for the Cardinals with a minute 08 to go.
You got to hope that that's not another announcer jinx if you're a Cardinal fan. We saw it earlier. Gave the fans free tater tots, but now we've mentioned Mason Jones and his perfection from the stripe. Will it happen again?
First one up and off the back iron.
Oh, what are we doing? We've done it again, Sam.
This second one is important, though. He makes it. It's a 2-possession game, and they would only need 2 layups or 2 two-point baskets. If he were to miss this, he would need a 3 and a 2 to tie this ball game up with a minute and 8 seconds. Free throw away. Off the back of the iron again, and Mason Jones goes 0 for 2 on the trip, and we are at a minute to go. The Trojans are going to play keep away for the last minute, and the Ball State Cardinals will probably have to foul eventually. Bayless gets to the cup, is stripped away, but fouled on the way up. Braxton Bayless will get to the line, and coming into today, he shot 60%. So not the worst guy to foul, but we'll see. Usually guards can knock those shots down in crunch time.
I think the Cardinals heard you. As soon as you mentioned it, Armani Ziegler was the one that had the swipe. It's his third foul now as well.
Bayless yet to shoot a free throw today, which is good for the Cardinals. Might be a little cold, and it's off the back iron. Game planning by the Cardinal defense with an A+ grade next to it right there.
And Coach Lewis is opting to go for small ball for what is likely the rest of this game. Mason Jones, interestingly, comes out for Juwan Maxey, who's been hit or miss so far this year.
Caden Fish not on the floor either, and that's back-to-back misses and an empty possession. Hadn't shot one yet, that misses both. James to the rack, off the back of the rim, too strong. Elmore James had a wide open basket and he missed it. The Cardinals will now have to foul, and they do. Chance after chance, and they cannot convert.
I think the decision to go small ball from Coach Lewis, I think the idea there was to play fast and not have any opportunities or no chances for the Trojans to try and trap. But the pitfall of that is the Cardinals played a little too fast there, and fundamental mistake from Elmore James IV in missing that layup.
If you count the two Mason Jones free throw misses, the Elmore James missed layup, and the Braxton Bayless 2 missed free throws, that is 5 missed shots on either team, 3 straight for the Cardinals. 35.3 seconds to go. Thunthach at the line. Mr. Gatkek came into today shooting 50% from the line, and he knocks it down. Clutch from the Trojan forward.
So it'll be the 1-and-1, but this Cardinal offense has just gassed out in the last span. Only 2 field goals made in their last 10 attempts. That's unacceptable.
Scores 65-59, 35 seconds to go in Worthen Arena. Gatkek sends away the second, splashes it in, nothing but net. Smart play by Denson to roll the ball. Clock has not started yet. Ziegler finds James. He'll pull up from deep, off the back iron, rebounded by Hill, but taken away. Up ahead, Cam Wallace to seal the deal. Cameron Wallace is going to send Trojan fans home happy. 68-59 as we get a stoppage of play. A 2-hand slam raising the roof here in Worthen Arena.
And Sam, there is your dagger. Elmore James had a shot opportunity, not an ideal one, but in desperation mode, you got to try it. Now you're down 9 with 20 seconds.
Hill's going to pull up from the right side wing, miss it. And Denson unable to rebound it as the tallest guy on the floor looks for the foul on Bayless, who just missed 2 free throws. With just under 13 seconds to go, the Little Rock fans can feel it, and they're cheering. 68-59 lead, Bayless to the line, and a chance to hit 70 points.
Just like that, the flow of fans leaving Worthen Arena begins. It's just getting quieter and quieter as minutes separate us from what looks like a Trojan win.
Bayless misses his shot 0 for 3 now. Maxey will pull up from deep and nail it. Maxey cuts it to 6 with 6.7 to go. 68-62, the Trojans will run the clock out, and that's your ball game. Arkansas Little Rock 68, Ball State 62 as they improve to 2-2 on the season, and the Cardinals will fall to 2-2 as well. Ball State's first loss in Worthen Arena this season, and the Trojans' first win on the road. Dylan, was quite the back and forth game. Again, the Cardinals had the lead for most of the first half right there until the buzzer, and then the second half was all Trojans. The Cardinals rarely held the lead. What was your biggest takeaway?
Well, you know, first off, I have to say, like, even as back and forth of a game as this was, it just was a lot of fun, right? It was really fun to call. It was really fun to watch as both a broadcaster and a fan, but the name of the game, what we thought to be, was turnovers. And Little Rock in the second half had 11 of them in comparison to Ball State's 9, so it shows just the lack of communication on either side. And, you know, we had said, okay, whoever has more turnovers is probably going to lose this game. Little Rock total had 23 to Ball State's 15. it wasn't in the turnovers, it was what the other team did with those turnovers. And Little Rock, especially in the second half, just opportunistic with Ball State's mistakes. And that's what did the Cardinals in. It's a loss that's going to be a tough one on the rest of the schedule. Lewis, I'm sure, is frustrated with the squad. I'm sure these players are frustrated after a heartbreaking loss like that. But a loss at Worthen was bound to happen, you know. So at this point, you got to pack it up, get ready to travel to Indiana State. At least it's not that far of a trip. And then embrace the Lafayette, Pennsylvania Classic of Monmouth, Lafayette, and Lemoyne. A little bit of a first true road trip for Ball State. So that should be a lot of fun as more time comes for these Cardinals to try and put it together.
Yeah, and you talk about Indiana State. That's an in-state rivalry. They handled them, Indiana State handed them a loss last year. They're going to try and end that streak. That's coming on the 22nd of November, a couple days before Thanksgiving. That'll be in Terre Haute. And then, like you said, for Little Rock, really starting that long road streak. They have Murray State, Texas State, Southern Illinois of Carbondale, and then an in-state rivalry versus Central Arkansas. Let's look over some final stats for the game. Little Rock shot 28 for 51 from the field, 54, just under 55%. From deep, they shot an outstanding 58%. And when you think about how short of a team Ball State is, they really needed to shoot well from beyond the arc.
Yeah, the biggest discrepancy is that three-point percentage, like you said. Little Rock hitting at a very impressive 58%. But as for Ball State, just 33%. I mean, considered decent, but you can't let your opponent get as high as 58%. I mean, 7 threes were made, and all of them were such volume shots that really built momentum along the way for Little Rock.
Ball State came into today shooting just below 60% from the charity stripe. Today, a little bit better at 68, but if you want to contend for not even a regular season title, but a MAC tournament title, you got to get your numbers up near the 75, even closer to 80. And again, for the MAC, you only get that one automatic bid into the tournament, and you have to win the tournament. So the Cardinals, that's going to be a point Coach Lewis stresses in the practice upcoming.
Certainly, and Coach Lewis is a really smart mind, and you can tell that it's something that they stressed on leading up to this Little Rock game. And, you know, like we said earlier in the game, like, it's little things like that that might hand you a win or give you a loss. And as we know better than anybody with MACtion, anyone can beat anyone else at a different place, at a different time, whatever it is. The beauty of MACtion is there's no real true favorite or underdog in any matchup in conference play, and a lot of times it comes down to little things like free throws. So, like you said, Ball State is going to have to figure it out from the stripe if they want the chances of winning those close margined games.
For the leaders in the points department for Ball State, Armani Ziegler led with 15, shooting 60% from the field. And then on the Little Rock side, Braxton Bayless, the graduate student guard out of Ankeny, Iowa, leads with 17 and shooting 70% from the field. That's Cameron Wallace with 20, all the way down at the bottom because he came off the bench. It went down on my stat sheet. 10 for 14 from the field. Did not attempt a three-pointer or a free throw, but he gets 20. And again, Little Rock, 3 guys in double digits. The Cardinals only 3, I should say. So both teams have 3. But again, when you have a guy scoring 20 and 17, it's hard to beat that.
Yeah, they did a great job of distributing the rock. Out of all of the players that came in for Little Rock, just 2 of them didn't score. And you could say, well, Ball State, out of all their players, only 1 of them didn't have a point, and that was Preston Copeland in his 2 minutes. But you know, all of the players that Little Rock had, they really heavily contributed, especially from the top. A very top-heavy squad with that consistent starting lineup and the 6th man of Cameron Wallace. I think Wallace has really solidified himself and made an argument to be in the starting lineup, but even if he's not, a great presence off the bench. I understand that some Cardinals have been in double figures, but 15, 11, and 10 is not as great as 20, 17, and 14. And it's little things like that that might give you a margin, such as a 68-62 one that wins Little Rock the game.
And again, Cameron Wallace, another one of those guys who really struggled versus Marquette, only 10 minutes, but and 2 points. He didn't only play 10 minutes. Missed both of his shots from the field. You had a lot of those on either side, but he's someone who really had that rebound game we talked about, and it proved to be an important part in the Trojan win.
Absolutely, and with both of these teams having those tough losses, Wisconsin and Marquette, there were a lot of players on either side that were really looking for a get-back game, and Armani Ziegler for the Ball State Cardinals is one of them, leading the way in points today with 15. I mean, he went 6 for 10 from the field. His biggest blemish, 5 turnovers from himself alone, leading the way for the Cardinals. He made some silly mistakes out there, and turnovers decide games, free throws decide games, especially in the presence of Maction. That's why you have a non-conference schedule, to figure it out and play with one another for more time.
Now for Darrell Walker, he has 103 wins all time as a head coach, or I should say at Little Rock. All time he's got 148, inching closer to that 150 number. Michael Lewis's record with the Ball State in his Ball State tenure drops to 51-47, as the Cardinals will look to get a get-back versus their in-state rival in ISU, and Little Rock packs their suitcases for Murray State. That's going to do it for us here from Worthen Arena. I'm Sam Klug. That's Dylan Budd. Final score, Little Rock Trojans 68. Your Ball State Cardinals 62. Ball State drops to 2-2. Little Rock improves to 2-2 on the season. Catch the Cardinals back home versus South Dakota State in early December is the next time they will be home. You've been listening to Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie. Thank you for spending your evening with us, and we will see you next time.
This has been a production of Sports Link Digital